Dear all, welcome to ESE Online, digital platform of ESE Engineering Academy. So we, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering from ESE Engineering Academy, would like to present key and solutions for Mechanical Engineering Prelims paper. And I hope you have performed well today. And our team members are going to present key along with the solutions. Dear student, welcome back to the session. So I'm going to present the weightage analysis of mechanical engineering paper. So as usual, we have the same weightage this year also. So if you look at thermal engineering, in thermal engineering, thermodynamics, IC engines, refrigeration and air conditioning and power plant engineering. So there were 35 questions. So out of 35 questions, only 10 questions are straightforward. The rest of the questions require calculator. So what is the difficulty in most of the questions? Without calculator, you cannot manage. And if you see the options also very nearby. Like we received a lot of feedback from many students, like many of your friends raised the same only. So they could not able to manage the questions. Of course, this paper is only a relative performance. Just don't worry, and everyone has performed in the similar fashion only. If the paper is very hard, then it is a hard to all, and it is a easy means easy to all. So, but we received information from many of your friends stating that the questions are little bit lengthy, and without calculator you cannot manage, and even cube roots and square roots and all these things normally very difficult. Of course, out of 35 questions, comfortably you can manage 15 to 20 questions. And coming to heat transfer, this time 6 questions and almost all are theory based and no calculator is required. I think numericals are not there and just straightforward questions. In fluid mechanics and hydraulic machinery, there were 20 questions. Again, a little bit lengthy questions in fluid mechanics. Strength of metals, 10 questions, maybe moderate. I cannot say easy. And the theory of machines, 15 questions, moderate level, and a few questions are lengthy. Machine design, 12 questions, a little bit lengthy, even 3 like cubes and squares, very difficult to manage because some bearings questions you can see. And without calculator you cannot manage, but of course options are maybe slightly, you can distinct the options and you can differentiate the options. And come into machine design, industrial engineering and operations, 7 questions, 1 theory questions. Actually, work study 1 question and the remaining questions are from a general side, pure project organization and some organization questions are there. In production technology, generally in ESE, there is a less weightage for production part. So this time also as usual, so production part very less weightage, only 5 questions, including metal cutting, casting, welding, forming. Of course, there are many headings but less weightage. And coming to materials, engineering materials, of course, a significant weightage, 13 questions as usual. Renewable energy sources, 12 questions. Mechatronics and robotics, 13 questions. And maintenance engineering, this time less number of questions, so 2. Out of 150 questions, you are able to answer 110 or maybe 120, you will get a decent score. So just let me present the solutions and the key for industrial engineering and operations research. Just if you look at the first question, which one of the following interpersonal roles of the manager is expected to train, counsel, mentor and encourage high employee performance? If you see the options, figurehead role means only nominal role, of course just only the administrator role only. Leader role means leader obviously is going to influence. Liaison role means only connecting role, and monitoring role means only supervisor role. So what is the right answer here? Option B. So this can be straight away we can answer. So leader is always motivating the employees. So next, which of the following approaches includes application of mathematics? When you talk about mathematics, just simply statistics and probability means quantitative. So without any further thinking, you can keep answer option A, quantitative approach. Consider the following statement regarding micro-motion study. So what is the concept of micro-motion study? If you divide the work into small elements, like a micro element, then it is called as micro-motion. Like a thermoblex we use. So what is the purpose of thermoblex and all these things? Unnecessary movements you are going to arrest. Unnecessary movements you are going to avoid. So if you look at the option, it is study to nature and the path of movement for accomplishing the elements of an operation, correct? It is to impart training to avoid unnecessary motions, correct? It is to find out the most efficient way to complete the work. So 3 are correct. Answer is directly we can move to option D. Next question, this is related to SIM and computer-aided manufacturing. In computer-aided manufacturing, we are not going to talk about inventory management and inventory control. So if you look at the statements here, and options also, if you see one statement clearly mentioned, option C 3 only. From this directly we can just common sense type. If you look at one, inventory control is concerned. This is correct only, but regarding inventory, this is no way concerned to computer-aided manufacturing. It is no way concerned. Manufacturing control is concerned with the demand fulfill, and it is also inventory related. Only one is correct, that is 3. Answer is option C, 3 only. This is regarding pure project organization. In pure project organization, project manager is whole and sole, only one-man army. This is correct. The project manager has full authority. Team members all are reporting to only project manager. It has longest communication chains. Okay, because only one project and it is totally overall, everything is reported to the project manager only. There are different levels and hierarchies you can find. So it is communication chain is there, it is the strongest communication chain, but is the longest. So answer is option D. And this is regarding crashing. Crashing questions, in case of crashing, what will happen? Direct cost always increases when the time is reduced. If time increases, the direct cost is not going to be changing. So, but if you see the first statement, direct cost increase with the time, it is wrong. Direct cost never be increasing with the time. Direct cost increase with the time reduction. If you decrease time, then direct cost increases. Direct costs are normal cost. It can be assigned directly to the work and related to execution of work. This is correct. Crashing activities increase direct cost. If you reduce the duration, obviously cost increases. So answer is 2 and 3, option C. Next, this is regarding redundancy. So warm redundancy is also known as hot redundancy. Actually, warm redundancy is different, hot redundancy is different. Warm redundancy means it is maybe requiring some kind of backup. Hot redundancy means already readily available. So warm redundancy takes some time. Active redundancy is also known as lightly loaded. It is not correct. Active redundancy is always right and it is not lightly loaded. So passive redundancy is also known as standby redundancy. Yes. Okay, when it is going to be active, if the things are getting failed, it is going to be active. So passive redundancy is also known as standby redundancy. So answer is only 3 correct. Option B. Okay, so next I request, so my colleague Mr. Devanand is going to present the heat transfer key and as well as solutions.
Hello everyone. So in this exam, ESE total 6 questions are there, and in that there is no numericals are found. So let's discuss. So the first question, optical pyrometer works based on the principle of. So as you know, pyrometer is used to measure the higher temperature with the help of radiation. So C is the right answer. There is no conduction convection. Next, the equation for two-dimensional steady state conduction without heat source. So it's a two-dimensional. So there may be a x and y, and it's a steady state. So time is 0. So steady state, straight away answer is D. Okay. There is no heat generation, right? Next, which of the following expression correct about the relation among the Grashof number and Prandtl number? So Rayleigh number is a product of Grashof number and Prandtl number. So go for A. Rayleigh number is product of Grashof number into Prandtl number. Next, in order of magnitude analysis of the free convection boundary layer equation indicates the general criteria for determining free convection effect dominates. So always remember, whether free convection dominate or not, that depends on Grashof number upon Reynolds number square greater than 10. So here you can see Grashof number by Reynolds number square should be greater than 10, then only we can say free convection is dominate. So that's why the answer is C. Answer is C. So Grashof number is more, right? So the answer is C. Next, if the monochromatic emissivity of the body independent of wavelength, if the properties are not changes with wavelength, then we call it as grey body. Grey. Next, which one of the following equation is called Kirchhoff's identity? Kirchhoff's identity said at thermal equilibrium absorptivity and emissivities are equal. So epsilon may be the symbol for emissivity and infinity may be the symbol for absorptivity. So answer is C. So this is about the subject. Now my colleague Mr. Hajrat Ali sir will continue about the strength of metal.
Okay guys, now we start with strength of material. When a body is acted upon, pure state of shear is given, which means the basic state of stress, sigma x equal to sigma y equal to 0, tau xy equal to tau. The question is asking is, what are the stresses on the plane which is inclined 45 degrees? There's a little confusion is there. The plane which are 45 degrees, it can be clockwise, it can be counterclockwise, it can be clockwise. Which one I should do? Clockwise, guys. The answer should be how much? Sine 2 theta. If you substitute this one will be it is a tensile stress. Option A. Now, Answer here is option A. Piece of material is subject to same two perpendicular tensile stresses, which means that it is a hydrostatic stress. Sigma x equal to 100 megapascal. Then what is the direct stress? Guys, if it is a hydrostatic stress, each and every having the same state of stress, it means that direct stress is always equal to how much? So option B is the correct answer. Now, coming to the next one, the strain energy per unit volume required to cause the material to rupture. Rupture means it's still failure, guys. Failure is called what exactly? Modulus of toughness. Option A is the answer. Next one, the British type question regarding buckling of columns. First one, buckling can occur when the induced stress are compressible, such as in column. Guys, in buckling, we don't talk about the stress because it is stability failure. So option 1 is absolutely wrong. Next. So if the option 1 is wrong, I can simply eliminate A, B, D. So right answer is option, tell me guys, option C itself. Next. Consider the following statements regarding beams. Please go through carefully. The beams with one end fixed, other end simply supported are known as proper cantilever beams. Excellent, correct. Next. Beams supported more than two sections are known as fixed beams. No, more than two sections it is called continuous beams, guys. So 2 is wrong. So if 2 is wrong, A, C, D should be wrong. Answer should be option B itself directly. Okay. Next. The effect of, regarding the effective length of a column. First one, the effective length is the distance between 2 point of inflections. What is the point of inflection, guys? The point of zero moments, guys. So first one is correct. Next, at the inflection point, the moment does not change sign. This is absolutely wrong. So at inflection point, moment changes sign, guys. So option 2 is wrong. If option 2 is wrong, guys, right answer should be only option B, it is positive. Next. When a body is acted by pure shear, same question given 2 times, guys. Only angle is different. In the first question, they're given 45. Here, they're given 135, guys. That's it. Just substitute. Sigma theta equal to how much, guys? That's what we got. Tau sine 2 theta. Yes or no? So you get tau theta equal to tau cos 2 theta. Theta equal how much? 135. In the first question is a 45. The 135 means sine 270 times sine 270 means is a minus 1. You will get minus tau, which means that on 135 degree plane you get the compressive stress. Compressive stress of same magnitude with no shear stress on this plane. Why? Because cos 270 equal to 0. So tau theta must be equal to 0. The right answer is option B is the correct answer. Now 50th. The tensile strength is a general basic assumption strength of material. First one is tensile strength is positive, compressive stress is negative. Yes, this is correct. Next one. A pair of shear stress on parallel planes forming a clockwise couple. Generally, counterclockwise couple is positive, clockwise couple is negative. So 2 is wrong. Next. Clockwise angle is taken as negative and counterwise couple is taken as positive. Yes, this is correct. The answer is 1 and 3, guys. So option B is the correct answer. Next. Yes, this is regarding the principle of superposition. What is the principle of superposition, guys? The effect of multiple loads is equal to, guys, addition of or summation of all the individual loads. So I can simply say that the principle of superposition states that if a body is acted by number of loads on various segments of the body, then net effect on the body is equal to sum of the effect caused by each load. But here one condition is there, guys. What is the condition? Principle of superposition is not valid everywhere. It is valid only if it is having a linear variation. So 1 is correct. Next. The superposition principle applies to all parameters like stress, strain, deflection. Absolutely correct. Next. Principle of superposition is applicable to materials with non-linear stress strain. No, absolutely wrong. It should be having a linear relationship, guys. So 3 is wrong. So if 3 is wrong means the right answer is option A itself. Next. Last question on strength of material. The rails are laid such that they have no stress at 24 degrees Celsius. which means that when they are laid at 24 degrees Celsius, no stress is there. Now, when the temperature is raised to 80 degrees Celsius, what is the stress he's asking? Direct straightforward for sigma equal to how much, guys? Alpha delta T. Yes or no? T equal to 7 into 10 cube. Alpha 11 into 10 power minus 6 into delta T. How much, guys? 80 minus 24, 56. If you simply make it, guys, make it 200 into 10, it become 2000. 2000 into 56, guys. So 2000 into approximately is become, guys, 100, approximately 100. Any answer which is near to 100, guys, only option near to 100. So the right answer is itself. I hope this is clear, guys. I hope you have written the exam well. Next, my friend will take my other colleague will take the session, guys.
Hi everyone, let's see the questions which we have got from machine design. The first one, the first question here is regarding thrust bearing. Here you can notice that the external diameter and internal diameter are given as 320 and 200, from which we can write internal radius Ri as 100 mm and outer radius as 160 mm. So here he gave both inner and outer radiuses here. The total axial load is given as 80 kilonewtons. So here axial load, applied axial load is given as 80 kilonewtons. Now here he also gave the shaft to be rotating at 400 rpm and the coefficient of friction is 0.06. What is the power lost in overcoming friction? Now we need to understand that the equation here is, here he is asking us to identify what is power lost. So we can write power lost as torque lost into omega. Now what is torque lost here? Here you can notice that here it is an axial one. We have calculated this simple equation using in clutches. So corresponding to uniform pressure condition, as here we are assuming that the pressure to be uniform. Here the equation that we can write is mu times normal reaction according to uniform pressure into radius according to uniform pressure. This is the equation which is replacing torque lost, okay, into omega. So here omega is nothing but 2 pi n by 60. What is Rp here? Rp is 2 by 3 times Ro cube minus Ri cube divided by Ro square minus Ri square, and omega is 2 pi n by 60. So here he gave each and every detail. Now after substituting these values we'll get the answer. Here we get the answer as 26 point. So here finally power loss comes out as 26.602 into 10 cube watts. This is our answer. Okay. Now moving to the next equation. Consider the following statements regarding theories of failures. So maximum principal strength here is known as, so we know that maximum principal strength here is nothing but Saint-Venant's theory. Yes, this is right. So whereas maximum shear strain energy theory is, yes, we also know that that is distortion energy theory. We can also know it as von Mises-Henke theory. Maximum strain energy theory is called as Higgs theory, whereas Gust and Tresca theory is nothing but maximum shear stress theory. So the answer here is, the third one is wrong here, 1 and 2 are correct, so the answer here is A. Moving to the next equation. Consider the following statements regarding power transmitted through a circular shaft. Option A here is given as, here it is, one is given as the stress and deformation induced in the shaft can be calculated by relating power to torque. Yes, we can easily identify. So here by relating between power and torque, we know that power equation P is equal to 2 pi Nt by 60. Okay, and we know that theta is equal to TL by Gj. And we also know that tau is equal to T divided by polar section modulus. We already have the relation between shear stress and torque and angle of deformation, angle of twist and torque. So we can relate these two and we can easily identify theta and tau. It is very easy. Now here I can say that option, the first one is right. Power produced by a motor is rated in terms of shaft horsepower at a specified rotational speed. Yes, this is also right. Power is defined as the work done per unit volume. Yes, this is also right. So here I can say that the answer is 1, 2, 3. Moving to the next equation. Consider the following statements regarding low cycle and high cycle fatigue. Any fatigue cycle with low number, see here he says that lesser than 1000 cycles is called as low cycle fatigue, this is right. And more than 1000 cycle is called as high cycle fatigue, this is also right. High cycle fatigue involves plastic yielding, yes, this is absolutely wrong. Whereas in case of high cycle fatigue, we know that the member undergoes elastic deformation, it is not plastic deformation. So 1 and 2 are right, the answer is A. Moving to the next equation, consider the following statement regarding joints. Bolted joint is an example of permanent joint. So this is a wrong answer. So if this is wrong, so here if you eliminate one, the answer could be C. Obviously quarter joint is a separable joint, and in hand riveting, so we know that a die is placed on the protruding end of the shank. So this is also right. Okay. Now moving to the next question, consider the following statements regarding transmission shaft. So we know that counter shaft is a shaft which is attached to the main shaft. Yes, this statement is right. Spindle is a shaft which is generally used to make use of held fixture to hold the workpiece or tool. So generally spindle, here it is mentioned as the number of shafts which are connected in axial direction by means of couplings. It represents a line shaft, it is not representing a spindle. So 2 is wrong. Jack shaft, yes, this is also right. It is an auxiliary shaft which is present between two shafts. Okay, which means here the answer is 1 and 3, which is B. Moving to the next equation. In a particular application, very easy one from bearings again. In a particular application, the expected life for 90% of the bearings, which means he says that it is rating life in hours. Rating life in hours is given as L10, this is given in hours, this is given as 8000 hours. Okay, and he also says that what is the rated bearing life when the shaft rotates at 1450 rpm. So we know that L10 in revolutions can now be written as L10 in hours, life in hours, into 60 N. So if you multiply this 8000 into 60 into 1450, you'll get your answer. We get this as 696 into 10 power 6 revolutions. The answer here is C. Okay, very simple one, very simple calculation here. Now the next equation is on sliding contact bearing. Zero film bearing is a bearing which operates without any lubricant. Yes, this is right. Now here a thin film lubrication, generally the difference between a thin and thick is that, so in case of, see this is also called as boundary lubrication, and here in case of thin lubrication what happens, a kind of metal to metal contact arises between the contacting surfaces. It is not complete separation, partial contact will be present between the contacting surfaces, whereas he specified that it is complete separation, so this is wrong. Okay, whereas here, so if 2 is wrong, obviously, so where do we have, so here you can notice that, one second. You can notice that here we have these options in, so 2 is present in A, C and D, so the answer here is B. Okay. Moving to the next equation, a solid cast iron disc, so whose mass is given as 1130.97 kg. See, this is a complicated calculation. See, here you can see that at least up to 4 decimal places he has given these values. You can observe this. So here he gave the radius of gyration of solid disc as 0.3535 meter about its axis of rotation. If it is rotating at an angular speed of 36.65 radians per second. So here he is asking us to identify energy absorbed by the brake. See, here we are bringing this total system to rest. Okay. So we know that whatever is the energy lost, so from this moving condition to rest condition is energy which is absorbed by the brake. So we can say that energy absorbed is nothing but equal to, so our energy lost or energy absorbed by brake is nothing but, so it is nothing but change in kinetic energy. So which is nothing but, we can write this as half I omega 1 square minus omega 2 square. So why is this written in this format? Why? Because it is reducing its speed, it is decelerating. So here we know that the value of omega 2 here, the final speed is given as 0. If you substitute these values, so here half into mass is given as 1130.97, radius of gyration is given as 0.3535 square again into omega, which is given as 36.65 square, we'll get our answer closer to, it is coming out as 94.92 into 10 cube joules. So here this is the complicated calculation which he has given. So here choosing a closer answer, we can choose the answer as C. Okay. So here moving to the next equation, consider the following statements regarding modes of failure. So we know that ductile metal is such material which possesses large amount of plastic deformation, whereas brittle material possesses very small amount of plastic deformation. And here he specifies something regarding static load. Static load is defined as a force which is gradually applied. Okay. So till here it is okay, to a mechanical component and which changes its magnitude or direction with respect to time. Now here he is speaking something regarding static load. He says that the magnitude of this static load is going to change as well as direction is going to change. So is that right? We know that the magnitude is remaining constant. See, it was applied gradually, but it is kept constant over a period of time. So here I can say that 1 and 2 are right, but option 3 is, the third one is not right. So the answer here is 1 and 2. Moving to the next one. Consider following statements regarding theories of elastic failure. So here experimental investigation suggests that maximum principal stress theory gives good prediction for brittle materials. It is principal stress theory, brittle material, so this is right. Okay. Maximum shear stress theory predicts that the yield strength is, so here he says that this is which theory? Maximum shear stress theory. According to maximum shear stress theory, we know that shear yield strength according to Guest or Tresca theory is nothing but equal to SYT by 2. It is not equal to SYT, it is SYT by 2. So I can say that the second option is wrong here. Okay, maximum shear stress theory is also known as Coulomb-Tresca or Guest theory. Yes, this is also right. So we can say that 1 and 3 are correct. 1 and 3, the answer is B. Okay. Moving to the last question here. Last question, consider following statements regarding distortion energy theory. It is also called as von Mises and Henke theory, as it is right. The yield strength, yes, this is also right. Yield strength in shear is nothing but 0.577 times yield strength in tension. This is also right. Experiments have shown that the distortion energy theory is in better agreement for predicting the failure of brittle components. No, this is not right. Okay, so it generally estimates good results for ductile materials, as we know that we have seen the close approximation which it gives for mild steel material. So here this is not giving good results or accurate results for brittle materials, it gives accurate results for ductile materials. So the answer here is 1 and 2, which is nothing but A. I hope you have got all these answers right. I wish you all the best for your future mains examination. Take care. Bye.
Good evening. Let us take the questions on hydraulic machinery. The question is asking, a turbine develops 9,000 kilowatt when running at a speed of 150 RPM under a head of 30 meter. What is the specific speed of turbine? Now this is a very fundamental question. Specific speed, as we know, is equal to n root p upon h power 5 by 4. If you calculate this value, you are supposed to get the value as 202 RPM. Next thing. We are supposed to get this value is equal to n root p upon h power 5 by 4, which is equal to 202 RPM. Over here, the power value is supposed to be kept in kilowatts, so 9,000 itself will be kept. Moving further to the next question. This is a theoretical question, and whenever you're having questions where elimination is possible, always go for elimination. The question says, consider the following statements regarding unit quantities. Statement 1 is, unit specific speed is defined as speed of turbine working under unit head. Now this is wrong. So wherever I'm seeing option 1, I'm going to eliminate it off. Next thing, unit discharge is defined as a discharge passing through a turbine which is working under a unit head. This statement is correct. So this again would be wrong. Third one, unit power is defined as a power developed by a turbine working under unit speed. That is wrong again. So the only answer correct over here is option C. The answer is supposed to be option C. Moving further. Next question is saying, consider the following statements regarding the characteristic curves of hydraulic turbines. Statement 1, main characteristic curves are obtained by maintaining a constant speed and a constant gate opening on a turbine. This statement over here is wrong. So again, I can eliminate A over here. Statement 2 is operating characteristics are obtained by maintaining a constant head on turbine. Again, a wrong statement. So the only option that is correct over here, without reading, I can say is option D. Without reading, I can say only 3 is supposed to be correct. So option D over here is correct. Anyway, let us read it. Constant efficiency curves are known as Marshall curves. That is correct statement. Moving further, let us look at this. Again, you are seeing over here, this is sort of a very easy question. You are seeing he has given in each option 3 statements. So if I just identify one wrong statement, that is sufficient for me. Let us see. Consider the following statements regarding centrifugal pump. The rotating part of a centrifugal pump is called as runner. That is wrong. It is called as impeller. So if this is wrong, I don't have to read anything further. I can straight away say option B is supposed to be correct. 2, 3 and 4 are correct over here. Moving further. Consider the following statement. Again, you are having a statement question. Try making use of elimination. Statement 1 is saying the horizontal distance between center line of pump and the water surface in the tank is known as delivery head. Now horizontal distance we talk about vertical distances. So this statement over here is wrong. So since statement 1 is wrong, we can eliminate this and this. Option A and option C are eliminated over here. Now next thing, the sum of suction head and delivery head of turbine is known as static head. That is correct. Manometric head is defined as a head against which the centrifugal pump is supposed to work. That is also correct. So both these statements are correct. Option B over here would be correct. Moving further, the questions are seeming very easy, at least over here. Right. Next statement over here is, again you are having statement questions. Consider the following statements regarding centrifugal pump. Again regarding centrifugal pump. Now this time he is asking us regarding the efficiencies. First statement 1 over here is the ratio of manometric head to head imparted by the impeller to the water is known as manometric efficiency. That is a correct statement. The ratio of power available at the impeller to the power at the shaft of the centrifugal pump is known as overall efficiency. Now this is wrong. Now his overall efficiency talks about the entire process. Third thing is the ratio of power output of the pump to the power input to the pump is known as mechanical efficiency. That's the wrong statement. So only correct statement over here is statement 1. So option C over here would be correct. The last question in this is the outlet velocity of flow and outlet velocity of whirl of an impeller of a centrifugal pump is 5 meter per second and 12 meter per second respectively. The resultant velocity is equal to, very simple, it is supposed to be equal to root over of 5 square plus 12 square. Now this is a very standard triplet, 5, 12 and 13. So the answer is supposed to be 13 meter per second. So these were the questions from hydraulic machinery. I'll take a moment's break and then I'll come back with fluid mechanics questions. about fluid mechanics questions now. Again, statement questions you are having. The question 1 is saying viscosity of a liquid increases with increasing temperature. Wrong statement. You can eliminate option D and eliminate option A over here. Viscosity of gas decreases with increasing temperature. Gas decreases with increasing temperature. That is wrong. Again, you can eliminate 2 over here. Without reading any further, you have to answer the option is option C over here. The answer is supposed to be, because the only option left is option C over here. If you wish, you can read. In liquids, cohesive forces predominate, rather dominate the molecular momentum transfer, correct statement. In gases, cohesive forces are small and molecular momentum transfer is greater, correct statement. Moving further. Next question is saying a fluid in which shear stress is more than yield value and shear stress is proportional to the rate of shear strain is known as. The language of the state of the question is not perfectly correct. Still, you can make an idea that there is a yield shear stress, finite value, non-zero value, which is implying towards a plastic kind of fluid. So we can say the answer over here is it is ideal plastic fluid. Moving further. The next question is two horizontal plates are placed 1.25 centimeter apart, the space between them being filled with an oil of viscosity 15 poise. What is the shear stress in the oil if the upper plate is moved with a velocity of 2.5 meter per second? Very simple. This is from your basic idea of Newton's law of viscosity. The value of shear stress is equal to mu into du by dy. You can say the value of mu, 15 poise is 1.5 standard units. Du over here, the lower plate is kept fixed and the upper plate is moved at 2.5. So 2.5 is du by dy over here is equal to how much? 1.25 centimeters. So 1.25 into 10 power minus 2. Now you can see over here 1.25 ones are 1.25 twos are 2 times 1.5 is equal to 3 and 100 follows it. So the answer is supposed to be option C, 300 Newton per meter square. Moving further, the capillary rise in a glass tube of 2 mm diameter when immersed vertically in mercury is equal to how much? The question is very simple but very difficult to answer because you have to use cos of 130 degrees. Now you just have to make a standard assumption to answer this thing. The value of H is equal to 4 sigma cos phi. Phi is contact angle, gamma times D. If you do this thing 4 times, the value of sigma is given to you as how much? It is 0.52. 0.52 cos of 130 degrees divided by the center, the gamma times gamma over here is equal to how much? Gamma is equal to 13.6, 136 into 10 power 3 and diameter is equal to 2 into 10 power minus 3. 2 into 10 power minus 3. These two cancel off. These two cancel off over here. 2 ones are, 2 twos are over here. This is going to be equal to 1.04 cos 130 divided by 136. Okay. Now cos 130 you will require a calculator for this thing, but if you can go logically, you can see it is very close to cos 135. So this value will be nearly. Cos 135 is approximately minus 0.707. Should be slightly less than minus 0.707. If you make a rough idea out of this thing, you will get the answer approximately as 0.25 centimeter. Okay. Moving further. Consider the following statements. One end of a piezometer is connected to a point where the pressure is to be measured and the other end is open to atmosphere. Correct statement. Next statement, inverted U-tube differential manometer is used to measure high pressures. That is wrong. Inverted U-tube uses a lighter fluid, so therefore low pressures are used. So statement 2 is wrong. I observe statement 2 is present in A, C and D. Therefore the answer over here is supposed to be answer B. U-tube differential manometer contains heavy fluid. That is correct over here. Next thing, a circular opening 3 meter diameter in a vertical side of a tank is closed by a disc of 3 meter diameter which can rotate about a horizontal diameter. What is the force on the disc if the head of water above the horizontal diameter is 5 meter? Now this is a simple question coming from hydrostatic forces. The value of force is supposed to be equal to how much? The value of force is equal to gamma times area times h bar. I am going to assume gamma is equal to 10 for water. Area is equal to pi d square by 4. Pi into d square over here is equal to 3 square by 4. H bar is equal to 5 over here. If you check this value will be equal to 90 into 5 is equal to 450 divided by 4. 450 divided by 4 is equal to 112 pi. Now 112 pi, we do not know the value, but you can just say 110 pi will be equal to 110 to 3.14. It should be guaranteed greater than 340. The only option I see which is greater than 340 over here is option D. So option D happens to be the correct answer. Moving further. Again statement question. Statement over here is, first statement, pitot tube is a device used to measure the rate of flow. That is wrong. Pitot tube is used for measuring velocity, not discharge. Statement 1 is wrong. I observe it is in A and D. So either C or B is correct. And both together cannot be correct. One more interesting thing. So 2 over here is saying orifice meter is a device used for measuring velocity. Again wrong. Orifice meter is used for discharge. Both are interchange basically. So the correct answer without reading you can say is option C over here. Moving further. The question over here. This is from the pressure gradient in between plate flow. What is the pressure gradient per meter width for laminar flow of oil with a maximum velocity of 2 meter per second between two horizontal parallel fixed plates which are 110 mm apart? Take dynamic viscosity as 2.5 Pascal second. Now you see the maximum velocity formula. The maximum velocity formula in the case of plate flow is 1 by 8 mu minus dp by dx multiplied to b square. So the value of dp by dx is equal to how much? It is equal to 8 mu v by b square. Now numbers are very simple to work with. 8 mu. Mu is given as 2.5. 8 times 2.5 will be 20. Maximum velocity is given to you as how much? It is given as 2. Divide by b square. B square is given as how much? It is 100 mm square. That is equal to 10 power minus 4 over here. Sorry, 10 power minus 2 over here. Sorry, 10 power minus 2. Now you see 2 times 2 is equal to 4. There is no need to work any further. You are only seeing one option with 4. So you can say option A is correct over here. Now this question over here, very simple question, looks very lengthy actually. Okay? Question number 1, statement question is saying kinetic energy correction factor is defined as a ratio of kinetic energy of the flow per second based on actual velocity to kinetic energy of flow per second based on average velocity. That is correct. Okay? This statement 1 is correct. We take average velocity, we take actual velocity formula divided by the average velocity formula. Average velocity formula. That is correct statement. Okay? So if statement 1 is correct, either statement 4 is correct or 3 is correct. So I'm not going to read statement 2 at all. Now statement 3 is saying momentum flux correction factor is defined as a ratio of momentum of the flow per second based on actual velocity to momentum of the flow per second based on average. Again, correct statement. So statement 1, statement 3 are correct. The only option possible over here is option C would be the correct answer. 1 and 3 are correct. Okay, try avoid reading everything. If there is a opportunity of avoiding reading something, make use of it in examination. The question over here is, an oil is flowing through a pipe of diameter 300 mm with a velocity of 5 meter per second. What is the head loss to maintain the flow for a length of 1000 meter? Coefficient of friction is given. Since coefficient of friction is given, we'll say F is equal to 4 times F prime. F prime is 0.005, that is going to give you 0.02. Now the value of head loss is equal to how much? FLV square divided by 2GD. I'm going to take the value of GS10 because I see the spacing is quite significant between the numbers. So F over here is 0.202. Length over here is equal to kita length, 1000 meter. Velocity over here is equal to how much? 5 square. Divided by 2G is 20 into diameter over here is equal to how much? 0.3. Now you see these two and this is basically equal to 20 and this is again gone. 20. I'm getting 5 square divided by 0.3, easy numbers. 5 square is equal to 25 by 0.3 is 250 by 3. 250 by 3 should be greater than 80 plus or 83, let us say. Now I see the answer only greater than 83 is 84.9. I'll tell you why it is 84.9 over here and not 83.33. The reason is I have taken the value of GS10. That small error is compensated by the number. Let us move further. The next question over here is regarding apparent viscosities. Statement 1, the apparent viscosity of a pseudoplastic fluid decreases with decrease in shear rate. Please be very careful. It is very tempting to take it as correct answer. It is wrong though. Okay, it decreases with increase in shear rate. So this statement 1 is wrong. Statement 1 over here is wrong. Okay, statement 2, the apparent viscosity of a dilatant fluid increases with increase in shear rate. That is the correct statement. That's why we call this as shear thinning and this as shear thickening. Now 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. So I can eliminate these two off. I can eliminate this off. The only answer, without actually going any further, I could have eliminated 1 straight away. Answer is C over here. Answer is C. Bingham plastic fluid requires a finite yield shear. Yeah, hey, that is true. Correct. 3 is correct. Next thing, the dimensional formula for bulk modulus of elasticity in MLT system is given by how much? Bulk modulus of elasticity is as good as pressure in dimensional terms, and pressure is equal to force per area. Force is equal to mLT power minus 2, area is equal to L square. This will be equal to mL power minus 1 T power minus 2. mL power minus 1 T power minus 2 is option D over here. Moving further to the last question. This question, you see, this question is so easy. Okay, you don't have to work at all with this question. You see the numbers over here, and I have always, said that always look at the options before solving questions in IES especially. Okay, numbers are all identical with different units, and these units are having very good spacing. Each of them is greater by other by a degree of 10 power 3. Now read the question. What is the actual pressure of air in a tank if the pressure of compressed air measured by manometer is 30 centimeter of mercury and atmospheric pressure is 101 kilopascal? Take G as so and so, he is saying, and density of mercury as so and so. Now you might be worried, G is given, density of mercury is given, how do I calculate and all? Very simple. You see 30 centimeter of mercury, guarantee will be less than 76 centimeter of mercury. 76 centimeter of mercury we know is 101. So we are basically adding 101 with something less than 101 and everything is in kilopascal. Tell me what answer would be correct? Guarantee the answer is supposed to be option C over here. Okay? Because you see 101 kilopascal plus 30 by 76 of 101 kilopascal. So nearly 39 kilopascal you will have. So that is going to be 140 kilopascal. So these were the answers. I hope the questions were quite simple. Let us move further to the next subject. Thank you.
Hello everyone, let us start with the subject theory of machines. So here is the first question. In the crank slotted lever mechanism, quick return motion, the distance between the fixed centers is 240 mm and the length of driving crank is 120 mm. What is the ratio of cutting time to the return stroke? What is the ratio of cutting stroke to the return stroke? So here guys, the value of fixed link is given as 240 mm and the length of input link is given as 120 mm. So if this ratio is 1:2 or 2:1, so directly we can write here the cutting stroke. Yeah, one more thing here, the two options are given 0.5 and 2. So always remember here it is a quick return mechanism. In the quick return mechanism, the cutting stroke duration will be more than the return stroke. So when we are taking the ratio of cutting stroke to return stroke, obviously the option should be option C. So option C will be the answer for this question. Next question. ABCD is a 4-bar mechanism in which link AD is the driver and BC is driven and DC is fixed. The driver rotates uniformly at a speed of 120 rpm and constant driving torque of 50 Newton meter. At a particular phase of the mechanism, the angular velocity of the driven link is 2 radians per second. So what is the ideal mechanical advantage? Ideal mechanical advantage, guys, it is given by the formula that is omega of the input divided by omega of the output. So omega of the input is given to us as 120 rotations per minute. So 120 rotations per minute, if we convert this into radians per second, approximately this could be around 12 or 12.12, okay, and divided by the angular velocity of the output link is 2. So which is 12 by 12.1 divided by 2 is approximately 6 will be the answer. So option C, which is option B, which is around 6. Option B is closer to 6, so option B will be the answer. Okay, and next question. The distance between the two parallel shafts is 18 mm and they are connected by an old ham coupling. The driving shaft revolves at 160 rpm. What is the maximum speed of sliding of the tongue of intermediate piece along the groove, along its groove? So guys, here this formula directly we can write it as V is equal to, that is diameter is given, diameter of the pin or distance is given, that is distance into omega it will be. So distance is 18 mm, 18 into 10 power minus 3, because we are supposed to convert this into meters per second and into 160 rpm. 160 is approximately around 16 or 16.1 or 16.5, let us say. So when we multiply these two, that is 18 into 16, that is equal to 180, and this will be around 180 and 18 5 are 90. So this will be closer to 0.3, guys, or 300. So 300 divided by 1000 is approximately 0.3. So option C will be the answer. Option C will be the answer. Okay. Moving to next question. The number of teeth of spur gear is 30 and rotated at 200 rpm. What is the pitch line velocity if it is having the module of 2 mm? So pitch line velocity they are asking if the module is equal to 2 mm. So pitch line velocity formula, which is given by V is equal to pi dn by 60. Okay, so pi dn by 60, direct substitution. So pi into diameter is module into number of teeth into speed by 60. So pi into module is equal to 2 mm and number of teeth is equal to 30 and speed is given as 200 rpm divided by 60 it is. So this is 30 ones and this is 32, 2 ones and this is 200. So 200, that is 200 pi, which is approximately 628.3. Option B is the answer. Okay, next question. If the two spur gears have a velocity ratio of 1/3, so velocity ratio is given as 1/3, VR is equal to 1/3, or which is omega of output, generally speaking, divided by omega of input. Okay, if the driven gear is having 72 teeth, so omega, which means omega of output by omega of input. This, if we express in terms of teeth, so then we are going to write the teeth on input wheel by teeth on output wheel, which is equal to 1/3. So here the teeth is given as 72, teeth on output wheel is given as 72. So input will be, that is equal to 72 into 1/3, which is equal to 24. So option C is the answer. Okay. Next question. The following data relate to the two meshing gears velocity ratio. Once again the same thing is repeated. Velocity ratio is 1:3. So that is VR is equal to 1/3. Okay, module is equal to 4 mm. And center distance is given as 200 mm. So how many number of teeth are there on the gear wheels? How many number of teeth are there on the gear wheel? So velocity ratio, which is nothing but we have expressed this as in terms of teeths also. So this is teeth of input by teeth of output, and center distance we will be writing as that as module into teeth of input plus teeth of output divided by 2. So here it is 3 times and module is given as 4. So 4 into 3 times of Z input plus Z input divided by 2 it is. So center distance is given as 200. So this is equal to 200. This is equal to 200. So once we solve for Z input, that is equal to 400 by 400 by, this is 100 and 100, this is equal to 25. So number of teeth on the input gear, input that is pinion, it is 25, and they are asking gear. Gear means the larger size. So ratio is given as 1:3. So it will be option D will be the answer, guys. Okay. So 25 into 3, that is 75. Option D will be the answer. Next one. An epicyclic gear train consists of an arm and 2 gears A and B having teeth 30 and 40 mm respectively. The arm rotates about the center of gear A at a speed of 80 rpm counterclockwise. What is the speed of the gear B if gear A is fixed? So here you can directly use the algebraic method to calculate the velocity of gear B. So that is omega A minus omega arm divided by omega B minus omega arm is equal to minus ZB by ZA. So nothing is mentioned, we can assume directly external gearing. Alright, so what we can write here, speed of the arm is given and gear A is fixed. So omega A is 0, this will be 80 divided by omega B, that is minus 80 equal to minus ZB. Minus ZB is equal to minus 40 by 30 it is. Alright, so what do we get here? This is, if we solve for omega B, we'll be getting an answer closer to, this is 9 minus and minus sign would be cancelled, and this would be 30 into 80, this is 240 and just a minute. And this is 41s and 42s, this is 60 plus 80, which is equal to 140 rpm. Option A is the answer. Option A will be the answer. Okay. Next question. A flywheel with a mass of 3 kilonewton has a radius of gyration 1.6 meters. What is the energy stored in the flywheel when the speed increases from 315 rpm to 340 rpm? So here directly we can use the fluctuation in energy formula, that is delta KE is equal to, that is 1/2 times of I into omega max square minus omega minimum square. Okay, so 1/2 times of I is given as 3000 divided by 9.81 into K is K, that is radius of gyration is 1.6 square into, this will be omega here it is given in rpm, so that is 4 pi square divided by 60 square into, this will be 340 square minus 315 square. So when we solve this, we are getting an answer closer to 70,000 joules. We'll be getting an answer closer to 70,000 joules, and this is not matching with any of the options. Okay, this is not matching with any of the options. So approximately if we convert, then this would be around 70 joules, so which is not matching with any of the options. So moving to the next question. A flywheel is fitted to a steam engine, has a mass of 800 kgs and radius of gyration is 360 mm. So mass is given as 800 kgs and radius of gyration is given as 360 mm, or which is equal to 0.360 meters. Okay, and the torque of the engine is given, torque is given as 580 Newton meter and may be assumed to be constant. What is the kinetic energy of the flywheel after the 12 seconds? So it is a direct question, guys. So here what we can write it as torque is equal to I times of alpha. Torque is given, that is 580, and I you can calculate, that is mk square times of alpha. So m is 800 into k is 0.360 whole square. From here we get alpha. So alpha will be around 5.5 radians per second, and omega will be equal to alpha times of t, which is 5.5 into time is given as 12 seconds, so we get it as omega. So this will be around 12 5s are 60 or 67 or 68 radians per second will be the velocity of flywheel. And now we can directly use the formula of kinetic energy, that is delta Ke, or Ke is equal to half I omega square. So half into I is given as 800 into 0.36 square into 68 square it is, guys. So once we solve, the answer will be around 233 kilojoules. So option A will be the answer. Okay. Moving to the next question. An aeroplane makes a complete half circle of 50-meter radius, and towards left when flying at 200 kmph. The rotary engine and propeller of the plane have the mass of 400 kg and radius of gyration as 0.3 meters. The engine rotates at 2400 rpm clockwise when viewed from the rear. What is the gyroscopic couple on the aircraft? So here, guys, they are asking only about the magnitude of gyroscopic couple. So directly we have to just do the substitution, so rather than focusing on the effect of gyroscope. So I will be equal to mk square, and omega will be 2 pi n by 60, and omega p will be v by r, that is velocity of precision. So here I is equal to that is 400, mass is 400 kg and radius of gyration is 0.3 whole square, into omega will be 2 pi into n. N is 2400 rpm, that is 2400 rpm divided by 60, and velocity is given as 50 kmph. So 50 into 5 by 18 divided by radius is given as 50 meters. Okay, the speed is let me check, it is 200 kmph, guys, sorry, it's 200 kmph. Radius is given as 50 meters. So this will be 200 kmph, and once we solve, we are going to get the answer as option A will be the answer, guys, after calculating this. Okay, moving to next question. What is the vertical height of the watt governor when it rotates at 60 rpm? A standard formula, guys, we can use, that is h is equal to, that is 895 divided by n square it is. So 895 divided by n is 60 rpm. So this is 895 divided by 3600. So this is a value, or you can approximate this to 900. 900 by 3600 is 0.25. So value which is closer to 0.25 is option D, that is 0.248. Okay. Next one, the degree of freedom for globular pair or spherical pair is 3 degrees of freedom. So 3 rotations are permitted in the spherical pair. Option D, that is straightforward question, is the answer. Next one, a pair of spur gear consists of 20 teeth and pinion meshing with 120 teeth gear. Module is 4 mm. What is the center distance? Center distance, this is also once again the direct formula. Again the concept repetition we are finding here. That is center distance is equal to module into z of pinion plus z of gear divided by 2. So module will be 4, and this will be 120 plus 20 divided by 2, which is equal to 280 mm, that is 140 into 2, which is equal to 280 mm. Option B is the answer. Straightforward question, guys. Moving to next question. Consider the following statement regarding the functions of flywheel. So flywheel, first statement says that it stores the energy and releases the energy at the time during the work cycle. So flywheel is going to supply the energy whenever there is deficiency, and it is going to store the energy whenever there is excess in supply. So option that is statement A is correct. Okay, statement A is correct. So A, B and D could be the answers. It increases the power capacity of the electric motor. So flywheel is there to deal with the fluctuation in energy. It is no way related to increase the capacity of the supply. Okay, so electric motor or the capacity of the engine cannot be increased by adding the flywheel. So option that is statement 2 is incorrect. So statement 2 we are finding in option A, C and D. So in B we are not finding the statement 2. So Option B will be the correct answer. And it reduces the amplitude of speed fluctuation. Yes, from here we know very well that is delta Ke max, that is fluctuation in kinetic energy, is equal to I into omega square times of Cs. So from here we can say I is inversely proportional to Cs. So flywheel is also there to deal with the fluctuations in speed occurring during the cycle. So statement 3 is also correct. Now next question. The governor controls the mean speed of the engine by varying the quantity of the fuel supply. Statement 1 is correct answer. Okay, flywheel is having no influence on the mean speed of the engine. Yes, governor is going to control the mean speed of the engine. It's not the flywheel. Flywheel may be used if the cyclic fluctuation of energy output are negligible. So if the fluctuations in energy is negligible, then flywheel is not used. Okay, so option, that is statement 2 is correct. Statement 2 is correct, but statement 3 is wrong, guys. So that is option A, it states that statement 1 and 2 both are correct. So these are the questions from the theory of machines, guys. So next my colleague will take over the discussion.
Right, myself Madhushekar. I'm here to discuss about the questions related to the material science, renewable energy and production. See here the question it is, consider the following common defects in steel due to heat treatment. Okay, see during the heat treatment process, okay, oxidation will occur, quenching cracks will occur, and wrapping also occur. So all three types of defects is observed during the heat treatment process. So D is the correct answer. Next, consider the following conditions to be fulfilled before a powder metallurgy product can be made. So it must be possible to form a continuously bonded matrix. Yes, the metal in the powder form must be able to respond to solid phase welding. Yes, because the metal powders are in the solid state, that's why it should form solid phase welding. The powders in which basic materials are available must be sufficiently close packing under pressure. Yes, if close packing is not there, so porosity will occur. So all the three conditions required, so D is the correct answer for this question. Now, consider the following statements regarding mechanical properties of metals. Okay, mechanical properties of metals. Now see here, the phenomenon leading to fracture under repeated stresses having maximum value less than the ultimate strength is called creep. It is not creep, it is fatigue actually. So first statement is wrong. A time temperature parameter used to predict stress rupture due to creep is called Lorentz-Miller parameter. Yes, it is called creep, it is correct. Time dependent deformation of a material when subjected to constant load or stress is called fatigue. It is creep. So this statement and this statement wrong. And in the question, which of the above statements are correct is given. So second statement only correct, so B is the correct answer for this question. Next question, Consider the following statements regarding mechanical properties of metals, right? The process of atoms moving over each other during the permanent deformation is called a slip. Yes, slip is a permanent deformation of atomic planes one over the other. An empirical equation that relates the strength of metal to its grain size is known as Hall-Pitch equation. Yes, Hall-Pitch equation gives the relationship between yield strength of material and grain size. The ability of some metals to deform plastically by 100 to 1000 to 2000% at high temperature and low loading rates is called superplastic materials. Okay, superplasticity. This is also correct. So all the three statements are correct. So D is the correct answer for this question. Right. Now, which one of the following is the ability of a material to regain its original shape on removal of applied load? It's very simple. Material, once if you remove the load, it will regain back to its original shape. That phenomena we call it as a resilience. B is the correct answer for this question. The interface angles of rhombohedral. See, rhombohedrals, see remember, rhombohedral means A equal to B equal to C. All the sides are same. All the angles are same, but they are not equal to 90. So A is the correct answer for this question. A is the correct answer for this question. Now, consider the following statements for the characteristics of ionic compounds. See, ionic compounds are generally crystalline in nature and rigid. Yes, absolutely correct. They are crystalline materials. They are generally non-conduction of electricity. Yes, they do not have free electrons. That's why they are non-conduction of electricity. They are insoluble in organic solvents but highly soluble in water. Yes, this statement is also correct. So D is the correct answer for this question. All the statements are correct. Now, consider the following statements for the characteristics of covalent compounds. Covalent compounds like water, ammonia, this type of materials you can take. They can exist in all states. Yes, the covalent compounds exist in gaseous states, liquid states and solid states. They are generally electrical insulator. See here, it's a vague statement. Generally, some of the covalent compounds are conductors, some of the compounds are insulators, some of the, okay na? So water you take, it's a covalent compound, it says conductor. But it's a dielectric, it's not a 100% conductor, okay na? H2O is a dielectric material. That's why they are poor conductors, we can say, otherwise they are generally insulators. You can take this one is correct. They are insoluble in water but soluble in non-polar solvents such as benzene and alcohol. So all the three statements are correct. So D is the correct option for this question. Right. Consider the following statements. It is related to the X-rays. Right. X-rays are not deflected by electric or magnetic field, especially. Excellent, correct. Because X-rays, they won't deflect due to the electrical field and magnetic field. They produce fluorescence in many substances. In all the substances, most of the substances, they produce fluorescence. They are highly penetrating and destructive on living tissues on excessive exposure. Yes, they have highly penetrating because they have high energy and low wavelength, so they can easily penetrate into the body. Right, that's why they are more dangerous also. So D is the correct option because all the three statements are correct here. Right. Now, consider the following statement. It is also related to the X-rays, applications of X-rays. Previously, the importance or properties of the X-rays. Now, this one is applications of X-rays. See, the X-rays are used to find the structure of the metal, correct? To complex organic compounds, analyze their structure, yes, definitely, right? To find the atomic number and identify the elements, means suppose if there is an element, if there is a material, to find the what are the elements present in the material, we are using X-rays. So all the three statements are correct. That's why D is the correct option for this question. Now, next, consider the following statements. The influence of molybdenum element in steel. So by adding molybdenum in steel, what is going to happen? See, molybdenum melting point temperature is very high, so it will increase high temperature strength. So first one is right. It will increase creep resistance, that is also right. Minimize the temperature brittleness, means it will increase the toughness, that is also correct. High temperature toughness, it will increase, correct. So D is the correct option for this question. Right, minimizing temperature brittleness means increasing toughness. So D is the correct option for this question. Right. The alloying elements of tungsten based tool steels are, see generally the tungsten based tool steels are like tungsten, chromium, vanadium, and molybdenum and cobalt rarely we can use, but generally cobalt rarely we can use, mostly we are using molybdenum. So D is the most appropriate answer, but there is a chances for this also, but I am giving most appropriate, most weightage for this option. So D is the correct option for this question. Next, another last question in the material from the material science. This is also related to the X-rays, okay, law method. This is a law method, right? The various reflections may make the appearance of the photography complicated. Yes, because of various reflections it is difficult here. Due to the wide range of wavelengths, there is a overlapping of diffraction images. Because of wide range of wavelengths, overlapping of diffraction images, this is also correct. And there is a variation of incident X-ray beam due to the large range of wavelength. So this is also correct. So all the three statements are correct. So D is the most appropriate answer or correct answer for this question. Right. Right. So these are the questions I discussed related to the material science. Now I am going to discuss about renewable energy. Right. From the renewable energy, questions are theoretical and easy questions they asked. Right. Now, consider the following statements regarding tidal energy. Tidal energy, right? Right. When the sun, earth and moon, earth directions are perpendicular, okay, sun, earth and moon, earth directions are perpendicular, right? The solar and lunar tides are out of the phase, producing net tides of maximum range. This is not correct. Minimum range of tides we can produce when they are in perpendicular, when they are in the same line, maximum tides are going to be produced. So this is absolutely wrong. So 2 and 3 are the correct answer for this question. C is the correct one. Neap tides occur twice per month at a time of half moon, correct. Spring tides either occur at a time of full moon or new moon. So 2 and 3 are correct. So C is the correct option for this question. Right. Consider the following statements regarding phosphoric acid fuel cell. Okay. So phosphoric acid fuel cell has a basic fuel cell consists of 2 electrodes which are porous. So that is also correct. At the negative electrode, hydrogen gas is converted into hydrogen ions. Yes, pure hydrogen or hydrogen-rich gas is supplied at the positive electrode, and air or oxygen is supplied at the negative electrode. This and this one is also correct. So all the three statements are correct. So D is the correct option for this question related to the phosphoric acid fuel cell. Right. Consider the following statements regarding solar energy. The sun radiates energy uniformly in all directions in the form of electromagnetic waves. Exactly correct. But here the output of sun is, this is actually value given, this value of the order of 10 power 26 kilowatts, but here 10 power 23 kilowatts given. And second is the energy reaching the earth is 10 power 14 to 10 power 16 it should be, but here given 10 power 12. So I hope only the first statement is correct, second and third is not correct, but in the options it is not given. So there may be a vague question, here it is. Right. Consider the following statements regarding measurement of solar radiation. Right. See, pyranometer cannot measure diffusion radiation. See, a pyranometer will measure both direct and diffuse radiation, both radiations it will measure. So this statement is absolutely wrong. Pyrheliometer is an instrument that measures beam radiation, that is right. A sunshine recorder measures sunshine hours in a day. This is also correct. So 2 and 3 are the correct options. So C is the correct answer for this question. Next question. Consider the following statement. The sum of beam and diffuse radiation is referred to as a global radiation. Exactly. Global radiation is nothing but sum of beam and diffuse radiation. Diffuse radiation does not have a unique direction. Yes, exactly, because of scattering due to atmosphere, dust particles, all these things, they do not have a particular unique direction. This is also correct. The solar radiation propagates in a straight line and received at the earth's surface without change of direction is called direct radiation. Exactly. Direct radiation is also known as a beam radiation. So all the three statements are correct here. So answer for this question is D. Next. Here, consider the following statements regarding depletion of solar radiation. So, solar radiation, now it is going to reduce because of ozone. Ozone cannot absorb the ultraviolet radiation. It will absorb the ultraviolet radiation, right? It will absorb the ultraviolet radiation. Dust particles and air molecules absorb part of solar radiation exactly. Nitrogen gas absorb the X-rays and ultraviolet radiation. So A is the correct answer because ozone will absorb the ultraviolet radiation. Next, consider the following statements. Solar radiation incident on the outer atmosphere of the Earth's surface is extraterrestrial radiation. That is correct. Out of the atmosphere, extraterrestrial radiation. Right, and in the atmosphere, due to the diffuse radiation that we call it as a terrestrial radiation, this is also correct. The term solar insolation is defined as the solar energy received per unit area, given surface area and a given time. So this is also correct. All the three statements are correct, so D is the correct option for this question. Right. Regarding solar collectors, okay, now here solar collector efficiency is the ratio of the energy actually absorbed and transferred to the heat transferring fluid by the collector to energy incident on the collector. So this is correct. Concentration ratio is defined as the ratio of area of receiver to the area of aperture, right? That is also correct. Temperature range is the range of temperature to which the heat transporting fluid to heated up by the collector. So all three statements are correct. So D is the correct option for this question related to the solar collector. Next question. The concentration ratio achieved from compound parabolic concentrator collector is the range of 3 to 7. It is absolutely correct. But this is not correct. That is related to cylindrical parabolic concentrator. It is not up to 70-80. But this is correct. Concentration ratio 10 to 30 for linear Fresnel lens collectors, that is 150 to 300. So this is not correct. So 1 and 3 are the correct answer. So B is the correct answer for this question. It's a very simple question. Now another question, consider the following statements regarding solar greenhouse. Very simple here. Greenhouses are arid zones are designed to conserve water resources. So this is not correct. So 1 and 2 are correct. So A is the correct answer for this question. Very simple, right? One more question related to the wind energy. The rate of change of wind speed with the height is called wind shear. It is not wind shear, it is wind gradient. So this is wrong. So if this is wrong, 2 and 3 are the correct options. So C is the correct option for this question, right? And one more question related to the biomass energy. The charcoal is obtained by biomassation process of woody biomass. That is correct. Biodiesel is simple to use, biodegradable and non-toxic. It is also correct. Raw vegetable oil is upgraded to biodiesel through a chemical process called transesterification. This is also correct. So D is the correct option. All the three statements are correct. Now maintenance engineering, 2 questions they asked here. The technique that creates a 3-dimensional image of the part. 3-dimensional image of the part is radiography method. It's a very simple method. So by using radiography method, 3-dimensional image you will get. And another question is related to the lubricant. Regarding lubricant, what type of lubricant? Molybdenum disulfate lubricant. Actually, molybdenum disulfate lubricant is not a semi-solid lubricant. It's completely a solid lubricant. So first statement is wrong. And it is used to protect bearing from corrosion, used to reduce the wear. So 2 and 3 are the correct options for this question. So C is the correct answer for this question. Right. Now some questions related to the production I am going to discuss. Here, which one of the following casting process thin slabs are produced? Thin slabs like 2 mm thick and like a 2000, 3000 mm width slabs we can make by using a strip casting process. So D is the correct option. The name itself, it is their strip casting process. Right. Consider the following statements regarding forging. So here there are 3 types of forging operations given. One is incremental forging, isothermal forging, rotary swagging. See, in incremental forging, a bulk component we are applying force, a small amount of force, a small step by step with a small steps, number of small steps. So that is correct. In case of isothermal forging, we are also heating tools and dies up to the temperature of workpiece. So this is also correct. And rotary swagging is nothing but radial impact forces are applied by using reciprocating dies of a machine. So all the three statements are correct. So answer for this question is D. Right. Next, another question. Which one of the following instrument is commonly used to measure the thickness and inside diameter of the part that we can say it's a micrometer we are using? The welding flame with excess oxygen is known as oxidizing flame. It's a very simple question. Oxidizing flame, excess oxygen, right? Oxidizing flame. Which of the following are not included in flexible manufacturing system workstation facilitates? That is, inspection stations are not there. Inspection stations are not there in case of flexible manufacturing system stations, right? So these are the questions related to material science, renewable energy, production. Next, our colleague faculty will continue.
Good morning, friends. There are 4 questions from RAC in this examination. The first one is this particular question. The performance test of an air conditioning unit rated as 140.7 kilowatts or 40 tons of refrigeration seems to be indicating poor cooling. The test on heat rejection to the atmosphere in its condenser shows the following. Cooling water flow rate 4 liters per second. Water temperatures in 30 degrees, out 40 degrees. Power input to motor 48 kilowatts, 95% efficiency. He is asking what is the actual refrigeration capacity of the unit. The specific heat capacity of water is given as 4.1868 kilojoules per kg. So here actually the system should give 140.7 kilowatts of power. It is giving poor cooling. So he is asking what is our actual capacity. Now you see here cooling given, that is m dot w. M dot w, that is equal to 4 liters per second. 1 liter is equal to 1 kg. That is equal to 4 kgs per second of water is flowing. Okay. Inlet water temperature Ti is equal to 30 degrees centigrade. Outlet water temperature TO is equal to 40 degrees centigrade. Specific heat of water is given as 4.1868 kilojoules per kg. This is the water circulating in the condenser. Therefore, we get condenser load. Condenser load in kilowatts is equal to m dot w in kgs per second into Cp of water kilojoules per kg Kelvin into TO minus Ti. So this will be 4 into 4.1868 into 40 minus 30. So from this we get condenser load, that is 167.472 kilowatts. This is a condenser load given. Now, you see in the problem, so using this data and this data, we calculated what is the condenser load. Now, power input to motor. The input power to the motor is 48 kilowatts and the efficiency is 95%. That means out of the power supplied to the motor, only 95% is being delivered by the motor. The work delivered by the motor or power delivered by the motor is equal to work input to the compressor of the refrigerating unit. So here power of compressor in kilowatts is equal to power input into efficiency of motor, or this is, what is power input given? 48 kilowatts into efficiency 0.95. What's the answer? The answer you are getting it is 45.6 kilowatts. This is the power of compressor. Power of compressor is equal to power output of the motor, and power output of the motor is equal to power input to the motor into efficiency. Okay, next. So we know both these terms. Now we will calculate what is the net refrigerating effect of the system. Net refrigerating effect in kilowatts is equal to condenser load in kilowatts minus work of compression in kilowatts, or this is equal to condenser load is how much we calculated? 167.42 kilowatts minus work of compression. How much we got? 45.6 kilowatts. So the difference is giving you 121.82 kilowatts. Now go back to the previous thing. Now you see here in the answers given, the answer matching is C. In the answer matching is C. Hence the correct answer is C. Okay, that is 23. Next. Next question is thermostatic expansion valve not equipped with an external equalizer has a superheat setting of 7 degrees centigrade while supplying refrigerant to the evaporator at 0 degrees centigrade. The power fluid is same as refrigerant. Generally, in most of the systems, they will be different. But fortunately for us, both are same. It's an advantage for us. What is the pressure difference in the opposite side of the diaphragm required to open the valve is asking. Okay. 7 degrees centigrade is the setting of the thermostatic expansion valve. Refrigerant being supplied at 0 degrees centigrade. Now here you see, at 0 degrees centigrade and 7 degrees centigrade, the pressures are given. So, P at 0 degrees centigrade is equal to 2.928 bar. And the pressure at 7 degrees centigrade is equal to 3.748 bar. So, once the pressure in the system builds up to this 3.78 bar, then the valve will open. So, the required pressure difference is required pressure difference is equal to P at 7 degrees minus P at 0 degrees centigrade. That is 3.748 minus 2.928. The answer is how much? 0.82 bar. Now you see here, among the answers given, our answer is matching with C. Hence, C is the right answer. Next, 28. A cold storage plant is required to store fish. The fish is supplied at temperature 30 degrees centigrade. The fish is stored in cold storage, which is maintained at minus 8 degrees centigrade. That means the temperature of the fish is brought down from 30 degrees centigrade to minus 8 degrees centigrade. The plant requires 75 kilowatts to drive it. That means the work input to the plant is 75 kilowatts. What is the capacity of the plant? Assume actual COP of the plant is 0.3 of the Carnot COP. Here, the high temperature reservoir T1 is equal to 273 plus 30, which is 303 Kelvin. The low temperature reservoir T2 is equal to 273 minus 8, which is equal to 265 Kelvin. COP refrigerator R0 is equal to T2 by T1 minus T2. That's equal to 265 by 303 minus 265. That's equal to how much? It is 6.974. What he is selling, the actual COP of the plant is 0.3 of the Carnot COP. COP actual is equal to 0.3 COP Carnot. That is 0.3 into 6.974. That's equal to 2.0922. This is a COP actual. Work input to the plant is equal to work of compression in kilowatts is equal to 75 kilowatts. COP actual is equal to net refrigerating effect in kilowatts by work of compression in kilowatts, or net refrigerating effect in kilowatts is equal to COP actual into work of compression in kilowatts. That's equal to 2.0922 into 75. How much is the answer coming? If we calculate, the answer comes to 156.915 kilowatts. But he is asking the answer in tons of refrigeration. So I have to convert into tons of refrigeration. Net refrigerating effect in tons of refrigeration is equal to 156.915 by 3.517. And the answer is 44.8 tons of refrigeration. The answer is C. Answer is C. Next question is 30th question. Next question. Now, here you see a small water-cooled condenser uses mains water at 13 degrees centigrade. That is, the condenser is supplied with water at 13 degrees centigrade, and the water comes out at 24 degrees centigrade before it is discharged out. In the process, it is cooling the evaporated duty. Evaporated duty means here nothing but the net refrigerating effect, which is 4.2 kilowatts. And the motor output is equal to 1.7 kilowatts. What is the water mass flow? He is asking. So here, m dot w kgs per second is the mass flow rate of water. Cp water 4.187 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. inlet water temperature 13 degrees centigrade. Outlet water temperature is given as 24 degrees centigrade. Now, condenser load in kilowatts is equal to m dot W CPW into TO minus TI is equal to evaporated duty plus motor output. Motor output is input to the compressor plus work of compressor, or this is 4.2 plus 1.7, or m dot W in kgs per second is equal to 5.9 divided by CPW 4.187 into TO minus TI 24 minus 13. 24 minus 13. So the answer is 0.128 kgs per second. This is a mass flow rate of water into the system. Now, among the given answers, the closest answer is 0.13 kgs per second. Hence, the answer is D.
Hi students, now let us discuss the answers for thermal engineering and power plant engineering. Dear students, this time the questions are asked very easy, but the problem is numerical type problems are demanding more time for solving the numericals. So questions are easy only, but the thing is some time to be spent for simplifying the numerical type problems. Okay, first let us take the thermal part. Look at the first question, which is from the psychrometry. It is asked like this: if the partial pressure of water vapor for the mixture of dry air and water vapor is 12.79 mm of Hg. Partial pressure of water vapor given 12.79 mm of Hg, and its total pressure is, means barometric pressure, PB is given 736 mm of Hg. Then what is the specific humidity? We have clearly discussed the simplified formula for specific humidity. Specific humidity denoted with W equal to 0.622 into PV by PB minus PV. You substitute those values, 0.622 into PV 12.79 divided by 736 minus 12.79. So it needs time for simplifying, right? The simplified answer is 0.011 kg of water vapor per kg of dry air. This is the value my calculator has shown. Look at the options. Option B, absolutely correct. Okay na? Similarly, look at the another question. It is asked like this: 1 meter cube of gas is compressed. 1 meter cube of gas compressed means initial volume of the gas 1 meter cube, compressed adiabatically. The ratio of specific heats, adiabatic index gamma, is equal to Cp by Cv equal to 1.4. During the compression, pressure of the gas is increasing from 1 bar to 5 bar. Means initial pressure of the gas 1 bar, and final pressure of the gas, that is pressure of the gas after compression, given 5 bar. In a reciprocating compression, what is the work of compression? Here compression process is given. Process is adiabatic. So the adiabatic compression work is equal to gamma by gamma minus 1 into P1 V1 into P2 by P1 power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1. All the values are known. Substitute those values. 1.4 by 0.4 P1 equal to 1 bar equal to 100 kilopascal. Since options are given in Newton meter, right, 100 kilopascal into 10 power 3 pascal. So 100 into 10 power 3, directly you can also write 10 power 5. Volume is 1 multiplied by P2. Here I can take the pressures in bars directly, 5 by 1 power 0.4 by 1.4 minus 1. For simplifying this, definitely you need calculator. My calculator has shown the answer 20.4336 joules or Newton meter. Look at the option. Option D is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, look at the another question. It is the problem connected to reversed Carnot cycle. A machine working on Carnot cycle operating between 305 Kelvin and 260 Kelvin. What is the COP when it is operated as a refrigerating machine? Indirectly, you are asked to decide the COP of the reversed Carnot cycle. COP of the reversed Carnot cycle equal to lowest temperature by highest minus lowest temperature. Here lowest temperature is given 260 dividing by highest temperature is 305 minus 260. You simplify this value for getting the answer 5.78. 5.78. Look at the option A. Option A is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, look at the another question given. It is also from the psychrometry, asked like this. On a particular day, the atmospheric air records a partial pressure of water vapor 9.62. Partial pressure of water vapor given 9.62 mm of Hg. And the saturation pressure of water vapor 31.8. PSAT, saturation pressure of water vapor given 31.8 mm of mercury, hygroserum. The barometric pressure is observed to be 756 mm of Hg. Barometric pressure is 756 mm of mercury. What are the relative humidity and specific humidity respectively? You are asked to decide the relative humidity and specific humidity. As you know, the relative humidity RH equal to, RH is generally denoted with phi, partial pressure of the water vapor dividing by saturation partial pressure of water vapor into 100, because it is generally measured in percentage. PV given 9.62 dividing by PSAT 31.8 into 100 for getting in percentage. It is given, the answer is 30.25. 30.25 percentage. The RH value is 30.25. So option A or B correct, C and D are not correct. For deciding the correct answer, you need to find the specific humidity. The specific humidity W equal to 0.622 into PV by PB minus PV. It is equal to 0.622 PV value. PV is 9.62 dividing by barometric pressure given 756. 756 minus 9.62. You simplify that value, 9.62. Simplify that value for getting 0.008. The specific humidity with respect to units is 0.008. Now look at the options. Right? 30.25, 0.008. Option A is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, another question is very simple question from the basic part of thermodynamics, asked like this. Which one of the following properties is not an extensive property? You are asked to decide the property which is not extensive, that means intensive. Energy extensive property, enthalpy extensive property, volume extensive property, temperature is coming under intensive property which is not coming under extensive property. Therefore, option D is correct. Okay. Similarly, look at the another question. It is asked like this. Two cylindrical vessels of 2 meter cube each are interconnected through a pipe with a valve in between. Initially, the valve is closed and one vessel has 20 kg of air and other one is 4 kg of air is there in the second vessel. Assuming that the system is to be at 27 degrees centigrade temperature initially and perfectly insulated. Okay, what is the final pressure in the vessels after the valve is opened to attain an equilibrium? That means there is a vessel, this is the vessel 1 and there is another vessel, this is the vessel 2. One vessel is maintaining mass m1 equal to 20 kg and another vessel is maintaining mass of the air only 4 kg. These two vessels are connected by a pipe which is perfectly insulated with a valve mechanism. Let me mark the insulation. It is perfectly insulated. Then what is happening? What he asked is, after the valve is opened, what will be the final pressure? After the valve is opened, what will be the final pressure? Very simple. Initial temperature of the both gases remain same. Temperature of the gas, temperature of the air in the first container equal to temperature of the air in the second container equal to 300 degrees centigrade. Even after the valve is opened, definitely the air is maintaining the same temperature. But the volume, final volume Vf equal to V1 plus V2. Each vessel volume is given 2 meter cube, it is equal to 4 meter cube. Similarly, final mass of the gas equal to M1 plus M2, 20 plus 4, 24 kgs. Gas constant need not be given. Gas constant R equal to 0.287 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Then the final initial temperature equal to, right, T1 equal to T2, that is equal to final temperature, because both are maintaining same temperature at 300, not 300 exactly, 27 degrees centigrade, that is 300 Kelvin. 1 minute. 300 Kelvin. 27 degrees centigrade is equal to 300 Kelvin. Okay, so temperature remains same. Therefore, the ideal gas equation, air is the working material coming under ideal gas, PF Vf is equal to mf R into Tf. From this, the final equilibrium pressure is mf into R into Tf by Vf. All the values are known. Substitute there for getting the answer 516.6 kilopascal. That is the final equilibrium pressure. Look at the option A. Option A is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, the another question is, thermoelectric thermometer works on the principle of, very simple problem, Seebeck effect. Thermoelectric thermometer works on Seebeck effect. Similarly, look at the another question which is given. Another question. It is asked like this. Isentropic expansion efficiency is expressed as isentropic expansion efficiency. If I look at the HS diagram, for the steam expansion in the steam turbine, this is the saturated vapor curve. The pressure of the steam before expansion is P1. Pressure of the steam after expansion is P2. If the expansion is isentropic, the representation is like this. 1, 2 to isentropic expansion. But once I consider the irreversibilities, the curve is deviated towards the 2 dash. Then the enthalpy limits for the ideal expansion is H1, H2. The ideal enthalpy drop equal to H1 minus H2. That is equal to ideal work. The actual enthalpy drop dH dash equal to H1 minus H2 dash. Then what he is asking? He is asking the isentropic efficiency equal to actual enthalpy drop divided by ideal enthalpy drop. So isentropic efficiency equal to actual enthalpy drop dividing by ideal enthalpy drop. That actual enthalpy drop is nothing but actual work of the expander and ideal work equal to ideal enthalpy drop equal to ideal expansion work of the expander, ideal work of the expander. So actual work by ideal work is giving the expansion efficiency or isentropic efficiency. Therefore, option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the another question. It is asked like this. Consider the following features for a gas turbine power plant. Gas turbine power plant, right? Features are intercooling, regeneration, reheating. Right? These effects already we have clearly discussed. Which of the above features in gas turbine cycle increase the specific output and thermal efficiency of the plant? He is asking what are the features or what are the mechanisms among these three are causing for increasing thermal efficiency and work output. Here, as you know, regeneration is for only increasing the thermal efficiency. But he is asking, regeneration is increasing the thermal efficiency by minimizing the heat supplied at constant net work output. So regeneration is not at all causing for increasing the net work output. Right? So here net work output remains constant. But intercooling is minimizing the compression work. Intercooling is minimizing the compression work. Their net work output equal to what? Turbine work minus compression work. Because of the decrease in compression work, net work output increases by intercooling mechanism. Reheating mechanism. Reheating mechanism is for increasing the turbine work. Therefore, net work output equal to what? Turbine work minus compression work. The reheating is increasing the turbine work at constant compression work. Therefore, net work output increases by reheating mechanism. So, with reheating mechanism and intercooling mechanism, the net work output increases. Thermal efficiency may be increasing or decreasing. That depends on different situations. So, based on the given question, regeneration is not at all causing for increasing the efficiency. Therefore, intercooling and reheating, right, are definitely increasing the net work output. Right, based on the situation, efficiency may also be increased. Therefore, 1 and 3, right, may be selected. 1 and 3 may be selected. So, with this, my dear students, right, so this thermal part is completed. Now, let us take the power plant engineering part. Look at the very first question. It is given like this. In the reheat cycle, the principal advantage of reheating is to increase the quality of the steam at the turbine exit. The main intention of the reheating of the steam in the steam turbine power plant is to decrease the moisture content at the exit condition of the turbine. So decreasing the moisture content means quality of the steam is going to increase by reheating mechanism. The main intention of the reheating is to increase the quality of the steam at the lateral stages of the turbine for the steam turbine power plant. Option A is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at another question. It is asked like this. This question is asked like this. Consider that the Rankine cycle efficiency is improved in the following ways. So what are the ways? You are asked to decide what are the ways for increasing the efficiency of the thermal power plant. By reducing the heat addition in boiler, absolutely correct. You know, the thermal power plant efficiency equal to what? Turbine work minus pump work dividing by heat input. If I decrease the heat input, definitely thermal efficiency increases. So first statement is correct. By increasing the steam turbine expansion work, when I increase the turbine work, thermal efficiency definitely increases. Second statement also correct. By reducing the feed pump work, definitely thermal efficiency increases. So all these factors are causing for improving the thermal efficiency of the thermal power plant or Rankine cycle. All the three statements are correct. You can opt the D, option D. Okay. Similarly, look at the another question. It is also theoretical question, concept oriented question, asked like this. Consider the following statements regarding steam turbines. In reaction turbines, the steam expands in the stationary nozzles and attains high velocity. No, the reaction turbines are having stationary blades only. The blades are arranged for having the converging passages in case of reaction turbine. Therefore, the fixed blades for the reaction turbine acting as nozzle, but physically there is no nozzles for the reaction turbine. First statement absolutely wrong. Look at the second statement. In impulse turbine, the steam enters the fast moving blades on the rotor from the stationary nozzles. If the steam is superheated before allowing it to expand, the Rankine cycle efficiency may be increased. Absolutely correct. By maintaining the high temperature in the superheated steam, definitely higher efficiency in the Rankine cycle can be obtained. Similarly, look at the third statement. In impulse turbine, the resulting high velocity steam impinges against the blades which alter the direction of steam jet, thus change in momentum of the jet and causing impulse force on the blades. Absolutely correct. Because of the change in direction of the steam flow in case of impulse turbine, right, change in momentum is developed. That rate of change of momentum itself is ideally equal to impulse work, their impulse force, right. Therefore, the third statement is absolutely correct. Look at the fourth one. In steam turbines, the steam consumption does not increase with increase in years of service. No, with increase in the service of the power plant, leakage rating is increasing. Therefore, the steam consumption is going to increase. It is given that in steam turbine, the steam consumption does not increase. Does not increase is not correct. So, second statement and the third statement are correct. You can opt the B. Option B is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the next one. It is also concept oriented question asked like this. Consider the following statements regarding steam power plant. An increase in the initial pressure of steam raises the thermal efficiency. Definitely, right? By increasing the boiler pressure or the turbine inlet pressure, thermal efficiency can be increased. So that statement is absolutely correct. Similarly, the thermal efficiency will be dropped by raising the initial temperature of the steam without change in pressure. No, if I increase the superheated temperature of the steam at the inlet of the turbine, definitely thermal efficiency increases, but it is given decreases, right? Second statement is not right, absolutely correct. Look at the third statement. Intermediate reheating of steam improves the thermal efficiency of the plant. So, reheating of the steam in between the two stages of steam expansion may be increasing the thermal efficiency. Third statement can be selected, correct. So, the fourth statement, an increase in the initial pressure of steam improves the thermal efficiency of steam power plant, and also wetness fraction of such steam decreases at the end of the expansion. No. So, when you increase the pressure of the steam at the inlet of the turbine, the moisture content is going to increase. Look at the TS diagram, temperature versus entropy diagram. This is the saturation dome. Now let us draw the boiler pressure. This is the boiler pressure, that is the turbine inlet pressure P1. This is the condenser pressure equal to turbine exit pressure P2. Generally we are allowing the superheated steam to the turbine. This may be the initial state of the steam. Right, this is isentropic expansion. That is how the steam is going to expand isentropically, right, between the pressure limits P1 and P2. Now, if I increase the turbine inlet pressure, for the same temperature, this is the initial state. 1 dash, 2 dash is isentropic expansion. Now look at the quality of the steam. Quality of the steam at state 2. At state 2 and state 2 dash, definitely the dryness fraction at state 2 dash, x2 dash is less than x2. That means indirectly moisture content is going to increase. Moisture content increases means wetness fraction increases when you increase the boiler pressure from P1 to P1 dash. But what it is given? An increase in initial pressure of the steam improves the thermal efficiency up to that point, that is absolutely correct, of steam power plant, and also wetness fraction of such steam decreases. It is given wetness fraction decreases, not correct. So wetness fraction increases because moisture content is going to increase. So this state 2 dash is far away from the saturation curve. Therefore, moisture content is more. Moisture content more means wetness fraction increases. So, fourth statement is wrong. So, first statement and third statement correct. First statement and third statement, look at the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the another question. It is asked like this. Right, most of the questions from power plant engineering, concept oriented questions only. Consider the following statements regarding the steam nozzles. Nozzle efficiency is defined as the ratio of actual enthalpy drop to the isentropic enthalpy drop between the same pressure limits. Absolutely correct. Velocity coefficient is defined as the ratio of actual exit velocity to the exit velocity when the flow is isentropic between the same pressure limits. Absolutely correct. This already we have clearly discussed in the classroom. Velocity coefficient is the square root of nozzle efficiency. Also correct. All the three statements are correct. Look at the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. Okay. Option D is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, right, look at the another concept oriented question. It is asked like this. Consider the following statements regarding steam turbines. Blade efficiency is the ratio of work done on the blade per second to the energy entering to the blade per second. Absolutely correct. That is the definition for blade efficiency. Second statement, internal efficiency is the ratio of the heat converted into useful work to the total adiabatic heat drop. Absolutely correct. Actual work given by the turbine dividing by isentropic enthalpy drop of the steam is the internal efficiency. Look at the third statement. Net efficiency is the ratio of brake thermal efficiency to diagram thermal efficiency. No, this statement is not correct. Look at the 1 and 2. First statement and second statements are correct. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the next question. It is asked like this. Consider the following statements. Bleeding is the process of draining the steam from the turbine at a certain point during its expansion. Absolutely correct. This point already we have clearly discussed in the classroom. Look at the second statement. There is a usual practice in bleeding installation to allow the blood stream to mix with the preheated air. No, there is no concept of preheated air with the steam turbine power plant regeneration mechanism or bleeding mechanism. Second statement is absolutely wrong. Look at the third statement. The objective of the governing is to keep the turbine speed fairly constant irrespective of the load. Yes. For all power developing systems, we are using the governing mechanism to maintain almost constant speed irrespective of the load on the power developing system. 1 and 3 are absolutely correct. Look at the option A. Option A is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the another question. It is asked like this. The indicated work of a single stage reciprocating air compressor is 250 kilojoules per minute. What is the indicated power? Most probably this may be the easiest question in today's exam. Right? Indicated work is given. You are asked to decide the indicated power. Power P equal to work done per second. Work done per second. Here work done per minute given. Work done per minute is 250 dividing by 60. You simplify this value. Right? 250 by 60 or approximately it may be 4.16 kilowatts. It may be approximately right 4 times approximately yes, 4.16 kilowatts. It is the easiest problem. Option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, so look at the another question. It is asked like this. Thermal efficiency is the ratio of net work output to the heat supplied. Thermal efficiency is the ratio of net work output to the heat supplied. Absolutely correct. That is correct. Look at the second statement. Compressor isentropic efficiency is the ratio of work output. No, compressor is the power consuming device. There is no concept of work output from the compressor. In isentropic compressor to the ideal work. No, for all power consuming devices like compressor, ideal work always less than the actual work. The ratio between the ideal work and actual work is the efficiency or isentropic efficiency of the power consuming device, but it is given ulta, the second statement is absolutely wrong. Look at the third statement. Turbine isentropic efficiency is the ratio of actual work output to the isentropic work. Yes, the turbine is coming under power developing system. All power developing systems are developing less work than theoretical work. Then the ratio between the actual work and ideal work is the efficiency of the power developing system. 1 and 3 are absolutely correct. You can opt the option C. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the another question. It is asked like this. Consider the following statements regarding cooling towers in thermal power plants. It is a question connected to thermal power plant cooling tower. In natural draught cooling tower, the cold water is allowed to fall over lowers. Second statement, in an atmospheric type cooling tower, the hot water from the condenser is pumped to the troughs and nozzles situated near the bottom. Third statement, in forced draught cooling towers, draught fans are installed at the bottom of the towers. Absolutely correct. In case of forced draught system, at the base of the cooling tower, forced fans are connected. Look at the fourth statement. Mechanical draught cooling towers may be forced draught type cooling towers or induced draught. Yes, absolutely correct. Mechanical draught systems may be either forced type or induced type. Third statement and fourth, look at the options. All options are maintaining two statements, right? Third statement and fourth statement, absolutely correct. So third statement and fourth statement, option C is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, look at the another concept oriented question. It is asked like this. Consider the following statements regarding the steam condensers. Power plant cycle improves in the cycle improves in efficiency as the turbine exhaust pressure drops with steam condenser. Yes, by maintaining the low pressure in the condenser, definitely the turbine work is going to increase due to large amount of enthalpy drop. So power plant cycle improves in efficiency as the turbine exhaust pressure drops with steam condenser. Absolutely correct. The use of condenser decreases the size of the boiler installation. Yes, definitely the condenser, because of the arrangement of the condenser, network output of power plant increases because network output equal to turbine work minus pump work. So with negligible pump work, by using the steam condenser, turbine work increases. Therefore, network output increases. Then what is the specific steam consumption? Specific steam consumption equal to 3600 dividing by the network output. So because of the increase in network output, specific steam consumption decreases. The decrease in specific steam consumption is an indication of decrease in size of the each and every part connected to the thermal power plant. Therefore, by using the steam condenser, the boiler size can be decreased. Absolutely correct. Look at the other statement. The vacuum obtained in a condenser is governed by the inlet water temperature, which in turn varies with the amount of condensing water used per kg of steam and its initial temperature. Absolutely correct. The third statement also correct. The partial pressure of the water, the pressure of the steam in the condenser will be decided by temperature of the cooling water only. All the three statements are correct. Option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the another concept oriented question. Most of the questions, almost all, 99% of the questions from the power plant engineering concept oriented questions, very easy questions. Multi-cylinder turbines which have their rotors mounted on one and the same shaft and coupled to a single generator are known as single shaft turbine. Very easy, single shaft turbines. Similarly, so with this, right, both thermal engineering and power plant engineering part completed. Now the IC engines part will be taken by my guru Veera Kumar sir. Please wait.
morning, friends. In IC engines, some very good questions are asked. Some are concept-based questions and some are problematic questions. The problematic questions are slightly tough when compared to the concept-based questions. Now here you see, air circulates at a rate of 68 kg per second, is to be heated from 16 degrees centigrade to 34 degrees centigrade. What is the water mass flow rate for an air heater coil having hot water entering at 85 degrees centigrade and leaving at 74 degrees centigrade? Specific heat of air is 1.02, specific heat of water is 4.187. It's a heat exchange process. So here the air is getting heated from 16 degrees to 34 degrees centigrade and water is getting cooled from 85 degrees centigrade to 74 degrees centigrade. So here it is heat gained by air is equal to heat lost by water. Heat gained by air is equal to heat lost by water. That is mass of air in kgs per second into Cp of water, kilojoules per kg Kelvin into TO minus Ti. That is outlet temperature of air minus inlet temperature of air is equal to heat lost by water. This is m dot W kgs per second into Cp of water, kilojoules per kg Kelvin into T1 minus T2. The higher temperature is T1, lower temperature is T2. So here m dot W he is asking us to find out. That's equal to m dot air, Cp air, TO minus Ti by Cp water into T1 minus T2. So m dot air is given as how much? 68. That is 68 kgs per second. Cp of air is given as 1.02 into 1.02 into TO minus Ti. Ti is 16 degrees, TO is 34 degrees. So this is 34 minus 16 divided by Cp of water is given as 4.187 into T1 minus T2. T1 is 85 degrees centigrade, T2 is 74 degrees centigrade. The difference is 85 minus 74. You solve this equation, you will be getting the answer as 27.17 kgs per second. In the options given, the closest answer is 27. Hence, the right answer is C. Correct answer is C. Now next, second question. This is on performance of engines. This question is given on the performance of the engine. A 6-cylinder, 6 cylinders, number of cylinders, X is equal to 6. 4-stroke, that means for every 2 revolutions, there is 1 power stroke. And for every 2 revolutions, there is 1 fuel injection. So 4-stroke. 4-stroke. Develops 125 kilowatts of power. Power is equal to 125 kilowatts. Running at N is equal to 3000 RPM. BSFC is equal to 200 kilograms per kilowatt hour, or this is 0.2 kg per kilowatt hour. He is asking what is the quantity of fuel to be injected per cycle per cylinder. That is, per cylinder per cycle, how much volume of fuel. He is asking the question in volume of fuel. He has given mass of the fuel. Asking volume. So for this, we have to use density of fuel. Density of fuel is equal to specific gravity into 1000. That is 850. That is 850 kgs per meter cube. Now here you see, this is what is the data given. What is volume of fuel? Mass of fuel divided by density of the fuel. Volume of fuel injected per cycle per cylinder. Asking volume. So this is first BSFC. BSFC is in what? Kgs per kilowatt hour into brake power. This is in kilowatts. This is kgs per kilowatt hour and this is in kilowatts. If you multiply, you are getting how much? Kgs per hour. What is kgs per hour? It is mass flow rate. Mass flow rate divided by, this fuel is supplied to all the cylinders. So number of cylinders, X into. But for every 2 revolutions, there is 1 power stroke. So here it will be N by 2. So this is in revolutions per minute. Here BSFC is in kgs per hour. So kgs per hour we have to convert to kgs per minute. So you have divide by 60 into density of fuel into density of fuel. This is mass of the fuel by density of the fuel. That will give you volume of the fuel injected per cycle per cylinder. So BSFC is how much? 0.2 into BP 125 divided by number of cylinders are 6. This is 3000 by 2 into 60. This is for converting kgs per hour to kgs per minute into 850. On solving this, you will be getting the answer as 5.446 into 10 to the power of minus 8 meter cube per cycle per cylinder. Now, this if you convert into cc, so it is in 1 meter cube, how many cc are there? 100 into 100 into 100, 10 to the power of 6. So this will become 5.446 into 10 to the power of minus 2 cc per cycle per cylinder, or this is 0.05446 cc per cycle per cylinder. So if you compare the answers, the answer is D. Compare the answers, the answer is D. Okay. First question. Next question. The Rolls-Royce CV12 turbocharged 4-stroke direct injection diesel engine has a displacement volume of 26.1 liters. The engine has a maximum output of 900 kilowatts at 2300 RPM. What is the brake mean effective pressure? He is asking the brake mean effective pressure formula. Okay. Brake power is equal to PMB into LA into N into X, because of 4-stroke engine, by 120. That's the formula we have to use. So here Rolls-Royce C12. CV12 means here it is 12 cylinders. CV12 means it is 12 cylinders. Here X is equal to 12 cylinders. 4-stroke. 4-stroke. That means in every 2 revolutions, there is only 1 power stroke. Displacement volume, VD, is equal to 26.1 liters. That means this is the volume of all the cylinders put together. Liters, you have to convert to meter cube. You have to multiply by 10 to the power of minus 3. This will be equal to 20 to 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube. Displacement volume. Actually, this is equal to X into area. X is number of cylinders, A is the area, L is the stroke length. L is the stroke length. So this is called as displacement volume. A into L is volume. Volume into number of cylinders is the total displacement volume of the engine. Now, here brake power is given as how much? 900 kilowatts. Brake power is equal to 900 kilowatts. And RPM is equal to 2300. He is asking what is the brake mean effective pressure. Now you see, brake power in kilowatts, we have the fundamental formula. Brake mean effective pressure, PMB, into A, area cross section of the cylinder, into L, length of the stroke, and X, number of cylinders, into N, whole divided by, because a 4-stroke engine, as 1 power stroke is there in every 2 revolutions, divide by 120. If you take in kilowatts, you get brake mean effective pressure in kilopascals. Okay, so this is 900 is equal to, we have to find out PMB. This A into L into X is nothing but VD, that is 26.1 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into N is 2300 whole divided by 120. Now if you solve this, you will be getting brake mean effective pressure is equal to, the answer is 1.7991 into 10 cube kilopascals. This is the answer you will get. Now, but is asking the answer in bars. So this is in bars, the answer will be 17.991 bars. That is, the closest answer is 18 bar, which is answer A. Okay. Now next. Next, a high performance 4-stroke SI engine has a compression ratio of 10:1. RK is equal to 10. The air standard Otto cycle efficiency, ideal air standard Otto cycle efficiency is 0.602. Efficiency, ideal, is equal to 0.602. Okay. And indicated efficiency is, efficiency indicated is equal to 0.55 into efficiency ideal, that is 0.55 into 0.602. If you solve it, you will be getting 0.3311. Mechanical efficiency is 85%. This is equal to 0.85. Okay. The overall efficiency, so indicated efficiency this much, mechanical efficiency this much. What do we know? Mechanical efficiency is equal to brake efficiency by indicated efficiency. So mechanical efficiency is equal to efficiency brake by efficiency indicated. That is equal to, and brake efficiency is the actual efficiency you are getting, that is 0.85 into 0.3311. So the answer will be .281 or 28.1%. This is the output you are getting. So the answer is D for this question. Next, 117th question. Which one of the following is a Dulong's formula for the calculation of calorific value of solid or liquid fuels from their chemical composition, where hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, the main heat contributing elements in any fuel are hydrogen, sulfur and carbon. Any heat contributing elements are hydrogen, carbon and sulfur. Oxygen will not contribute to any heat. Now, we all know that it's asking in kilojoules per kg. Actually, the calorific value of carbon is 33,800. So, among all the things, 33,800 is only for this. So, actually, they should write carbon here, which is missing. Okay. Next, hydrogen is having the highest calorific value of 144,000. So, here it is only for free hydrogen you have to apply the calorific value. For oxygen in combination with hydrogen, we will not consider any heating value. So that much portion is removed. So you are getting only 144,000 into H minus O by 8. And the calorific value of sulfur is 9270. This is only high calorific value. This is not low calorific value. So this is an empirical formula for determining the high calorific value of solid or liquid fuels by knowing the composition of the fuel. Okay. So correct answer is C. Next. Consider the following statements. Now all these questions are what we call as very simple questions which involves only some analysis to understand. Consider the following statements regarding combustion of fuels. Carbon combines with oxygen to form carbon monoxide. C plus O2 give rise to CO. This is called incomplete combustion. This happens. When you are supplying insufficient air, you will get lot of smoke, which is nothing but carbon monoxide. Or 2C plus O2 give rise to 2CO. Next. Hydrogen burns with oxygen to give water as the product. Hydrogen plus oxygen give rise to water. Balancing this, you have 2H2 plus O2 is equal to 2H2O. Next, when methane burns in the presence of oxygen, the combustion products are carbon dioxide and water vapor. Methane, CH4 plus oxygen give rise to CO2 plus H2O. Balancing this equation is CH4 plus O2 give rise to CO2 plus 2H2O. So all the three are possible. So the correct answer is D. D is the correct answer. Next. Consider the following statement. Another statement question. If you know the concept, you can easily answer this question. Air contains 23% oxygen and 77% nitrogen by volume. See, volumetric is different, gravimetric is different. Here he is telling 23% oxygen, 77% nitrogen by volume. Actually it is by mass, not by volume. By volume, it is 79% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. This is by volume. By mass, it is 77% nitrogen, 23% oxygen. This is by mass. So, the first statement is wrong. When you know the first statement is wrong, in the options given, wherever there is one, it is a wrong answer. Hence, the only right answer is C. Because minimum 2 are there in all the answers. Next. Next, this is another conceptual question. Consider the following statements regarding properties of good coal and bad coal. We want more calorific value. It should have low ash content and high calorific value. Okay. That's the correct statement. Large percentage of sulfur. Now, large percentage of sulfur means when it burns, it gives sulfur dioxide. In the combustion gases, there is already water vapor. So, SO2 plus H2O forms sulfurous acid or sulfuric acid. This will corrode the engine parts. Hence, sulfur content should not be high in any fuel. It should be kept as minimum as possible. In IC engine fuels, it is kept less than 1%. That is the objective. And moreover, if the sulfur content is more, it forms SOx emissions. These are highly poisonous emissions, which are not desirable. Hence, the second statement is not correct statement. Not a requirement of good coal. Therefore, in the answers, wherever there is 2, you eliminate. And the answer is B. Answer is B. అయిపోయిందా? That's all.
All right. Now we will see the subject of the mechatronics and robotics, right? So as we see in this prelims examination, that is ESE 2024, in the set B concern, we have in mechatronics and robotics, total we have the 13 questions, right? So we have total 13 questions. Let's see the weightage, right? So here, so the weightage concern, as I said, we have the total 13 questions, I can say. The question numbers started from a 78 to a 90 a question number, right? So let's move on to the detailed solution along with the key respective question, right? So let's move on to the first question in this mechatronics robotic question concerned to the B set. We have the 78 question number, so which is related to the statement question, I can say, right? So which is basically related to a vision system concept. So here the question says that considering the following statements regarding the visual perception, right? The visual perception, right? So in this first statement, it is given as
a vision the most important sensory channel for humans, right? The second statement says that the function of the visual perception is to provide the visual input to support a robot learning a process, right? And the third statement says that the vision plays a vital role in any machine which intend to perform autonomous motions, right? So among these, the question says that which of the above statements are correct, right? All right. So if you see the three statements concerned to the vision perception, all are important and are the correct one, I can say, right? So here the vision is the most important sensory channel for any human or any animal, I can say, right? So the function of the visual perception is to provide the visual input so that it can support the robot learning a process, right? So whatever the vision perception will be taken as an input to the robot, and it will be going to learn the process. And the vision plays a vital role in any machine which intend to perform autonomous motion, I can say, right? So here the three statements are correct concerned to the given question, right? So among the four options, the D is a correct one. All right. So let's cross verify the same thing here, right? So the answer is a D, and related to the answer we have the solution here, right? So vision is the most important sensory channel for any human, or it may be an animal, I can say, right? So without vision, or our abilities to act and learn would be a tremendously weakened, right? In similar manner, vision plays an important role in any machine which intended to perform autonomous motion as well as actions and tasks and even behaviors, right? So we have the various functions, I can say. So among that, one function it is given as is that the visual perception is the provide to visual input to support the robot's learning a process, right? So this is a solution concerned to the given question, right? Right. So as we move to the next question, which is nothing but the 79, right? So it is related to the trajectory, a path, or I can say that the trajectory concept, I can say. So the trajectory is the path. Option A says that without time constraint, right? And option B says that with the time constraint, and option C says that in one dimensional space, and option D says that with motion planning strategy, right? So here, as we see the question 79 here, the trajectory path, right? So here, in the case of the robot end effector, where we had to measure the velocity and acceleration related to the robot end effector in order to perform the various tasks, right? So in that case, the correct option says that, which is nothing but with time constraint. The trajectory is the path which is with the time constraint, I can say, right? So as we move to the solution concerned to the respective question, or I can say that the trajectory is a path with a time constraint in order to determine the velocity and acceleration from the description of a path and the time constraint. It is convenient to consider path as one dimensional space. In this way, the end effector, right? So in this way, the end effector is treated as a point which travels in the one dimensional space, right? So this is about the 79 question key as well as the solution, I can say, right? So let's move on to the next question, that is 80, right? So here the question 80 says that collision free path of the trajectory requires, right? So if you take any autonomous robot system, so here to perform any goal or a task, I can say, which is performed by the robot, that should be performed collision free, right? So that means it should not be disturbed to any other objects, right? So whatever the required objects to be grasped, that only object is to be sensed, I can say, right? So in order to make the collision free path of the trajectory requires the option A says that the constrained motion of the workspace and the time constraint and the geometrical model of the workspace, and the option D says that kinetodynamic chain, right? So here to make or to design the collision free path, it's a very difficult task, I can say, right? So to make that one, to make collision free path, we required a geometrical model of the workspace. Here the workspace is we already discussed in the classroom, which is also known as the workspace is also known as the work envelope, right? So within that area, the robot will be going to perform the desired task, right? So in order to make the task, we initially we need to develop the geometrical model of the workspace, so that whatever the result we are going to obtain at the main area, right? So that we can visualize in pre-early only, right? So which is nothing but the option C, right? So here the best option concerned to the required question, that is collision free path of the trajectory requires the geometrical model of the workspace, right? So which is the option C, I can say, right? So that is the answer for the respective question, right? So here the collision free path, or which is we can say that the trajectory, right? So the motion execution implies the execution of the motion in a safe manner, obviously, right? So therefore the path or the trajectory is to be followed by the end effector's frame should not intersect with any other object in scene or a workspace, or I can say that work envelope, right? So the determination of a collision free path or trajectory is not easy, because it requires advanced knowledge of the geometric model of the workspace. So that's why the best option concerned to the question is that a C, right? So let's move on to the question number 81, right? So let's move on to the question number 81, I can say, right? So here the question number 81 says that the purpose of diffusification is to make decision based on, right? So here the option says that option A, that is a fuzzy output set and fuzzy input set and Boolean set as well as the motion set. So here the purpose of the diffusification is to make decision based on the fuzzy output set, I can say, right? That is a fuzzy output set. So the correct answer is concerned to this question is option A, right? So here the purpose of diffusification is to make decision based on the membership function of the fuzzy output set, right? All right. So let's move on to the next question, which is related to 82 question number, I can say. So here again this question 82 question related to the statement question, I can say, right? So here we can say that consider the following statement. This question is basically related to the statement question, I can say. So consider the following statements regarding issues in the robotics, right? So they're saying they are given the points related to the issues in the robotics. Let's see, move on to the statement 1. A robot's degrees of freedom, autonomy depends on its ability to perform the order sequence of perception and decision making and action, right? So the next one statement is given that the kinematics is the study of the motion in relation to the force and torque, right? And the third one says that the dynamics is the study of motion without consideration of the force and the torque, right? So these are the three statements are given concerned to the issues in the robotics, right? And the question is asking that which of the above statements are correct, right? So in the classroom session, in the offline as well as the online class, we already discussed related to the robot kinematics, right? So in that we are already detailedly discussed related to the kinematics definition as well as the dynamics, right? So here if you see from the observing the three statements, right? So option whatever the statement 2 and the option statement 3, both are incorrect statements. Option 2, sir, that is statement 2 as well as the statement 3 are incorrect, right? Because here the statement whatever it is given, that kinematics is basically study of the motion. It is given as in relation to the force and torque, right? So in this kinematics we are not going to deal with any force or torque, right? Only we are going to discuss about we are going to deal with the motion, that's it, right? So whereas it is in dynamics we are going to consider both the force as well as the torque, I can say, right? So here from this we can say that by eliminating options, I can say that is 2 and 3. So we can clearly say that the option A is the correct one concerned to this question, right? So from this we can say that option A is the correct one, right? So let's move on to the same solution, right? So that solution has given here the same point. So here in issues in the robotics as we know that the study of the robots in engineering discipline, I can say, functionally, robot is a physical agent which is capable of executing the motion for the achievement of the any task against, right? So robot's degrees of freedom autonomy mainly depends on and its ability to perform the order of sequence will be going of perception and decision making as well as the action, right? So here the kinematics is the study of the motion without consideration of the force and the torque, whereas in the case of dynamics is the study of the motion. Here we are going to relate to the force as well as the torque, right? So therefore you find the concept of the robotics motion being visible form of the action, right? So the correct answer considered this one is A, that is 82. Correct answer is A, right? So the same concept we discussed in the robot arm kinematics in the classroom session, right? So as we move to the next questions related to 83, here also we have again the statement type of question again, right? So which is related to the joints, right? So here a joint is a connection between two or more links at their nodes, right? So the next second statement says that if a joint connects only two links, the entity is called as kinematic pair, right? So the third statement says that if a 1 degrees of freedom joint imposes a translation motion, then it is called as the prismatic joint, right? So here among these three statements, which of the are correct? They are asking the question, right? So here if you see all three statements concerned to the joints are correct, right? So how it is see the same thing here, right? So here the given all statements are correct. That is the option D is the correct one, right? So if you want to do the same thing here, the solution, the joint is a connection between the two or more links at their node seconds, right? It constrains the motion of the connected links, obviously correct, right? And here if the joint connects only two links, the entity, right? So the entity is also called as the kinematic pair, right? So which is mainly depends on the degrees of freedom, I can say, allowed for the kinematic pair. So the joint can be classified as it may be a 1 degrees of freedom, or I can say that 2 degrees of freedom of the joint, or 3 degrees of freedom, and so on. Depends on the independent of motions, right? So the next one we have in three-dimensional space, any complex motion with respect to the reference coordinate system can be treated as a combination of two basic motions. Those are the translation as well as the rotation, right? So if a joint or if joint that is which is having the 1 degrees of freedom joint imposes a translation motion which is known as the prismatic joint, the prismatic joint, right? So here if we want to the same solution, whatever we concept we learned in the classroom session, I can say that. So we discussed the various types of the motion or motions as well as the respective types of joints, I can say. So in that the first one we discussed related to the prismatic joint, right? So which is basically represented by the letter L or a P, I can say, right? So that is the concept we are discussed, right? So along with the animation also we have seen the best image also, right? So these are the prismatic joints we discussed, right? So let's move on to the next question, right? That's the 84 question, right? So here HARO-1 is a, option A says that it's a prototype of a robotic animal. It's a prototype of a robotic animal, I can say, right? So HARO-1 is a prototype of human like a robot. The option B says that, right? Then if you want to the option C, a prototype of a robotic engine, right? So then option D says that a prototype of robotic bird, right? So basically here HARO, which is if you expand the same thing, which means that the human assisted a robot, right? So it's basically used in case of to helping the humans who are in physically disabled, or I can say that who are in the age of old, I can say, right? Or old aged people, right? So which is a prototype of human like a robot, right? So from among the four options, the correct one is that option B, that is Bombay, right? So all right, so let's move on to the same key as well as the solution, right? So HARO, which is represent the human assisting a robot. From this they taken as an HARO, that is a human assisting a robot, right? So it is a prototype of human-like robot which is called as HARO-1, I can say. So in order to provide the quality of care for aged and disabled people without causing a physical or mental burden to the patients and nurses, we have generally the researcher developed the prototype of wearable type of robotic system which is named as a human assisting robot that is operated by the nurse to amplify his or her physical power, right? So this is about the HARO robot, right? So the same thing we can see in the image, right? So the next question concerns to the 85, right? So the next question we have, that is 85, which is also a statement type of question, I can say, right? Which is also a statement type of a question, right? So here the question is related to the sensing elements, right? So we have the sensing elements. All right. So here if you see the statement 1, a human sensory system can be divided into 5 distinct subsystems, right? So a human sensory system can be divided into 5 distinct subsystems, I can say. So the next one statement is given that MEMS. Next one is given as a MEMS stands for micro electromechanical systems, right? And third one we have working procedure involves unpredictable movement done by a robot, right? So here they are asking the correct statement among the given 3 statements, right? So here if you observe the third statement, so the working procedure, so right, so here what are the procedure we are going to use, which is basically we are going to use the homing procedure which is involve unpredictable movement done by the robot against, right? So here as we know that the human sensory, generally we have the total 5 sensory subsystems, I can say that. So which are we are well known that the visual as well as auditory and kinesthetic as well as the gustatory and olfactory, I can say, right? So which are related to the taste as well as the smell sensing things, I can say, right? And the MEMS which will be going to stands for micro electromechanical system, right? So hence the second statement as well as the first statements are correct. Along with that, as we move to the third statement, the homing procedure which is involves the unpredictable movement of done by the robot against, right? So hence the third statement is incorrect, right? Hence the third statement is correct. So from this we can say that the correct answer is that option A, right? So from this we can say that option A is the correct one, that is 1 and 2 statements are correct, right? So let's move on to the next question, that is 86 seconds, right? So we have the 86 question, I can say, right? So here the question 86 says that the physical quantities are related to a touch are measured by, right? So the question says that the physical quantities related to touch are measured by, right? Simple sensors, and the option B says that reflective sensors and the tactile sensors and the touch sensor, right? So here these sensors we are incorrect, I can say. And the next one we have the tactile sensors and the touch sensor, right? So here what are the physical quantities are which are measured by the tactile sensor, I can say, right? So the tactile sensor measures the physical quantities related to the measurement, I can say, right? So here the touch sensor basically used to whether the object has been touched or not, that only we can measure or we can sense the object, that's it. Whereas whenever we are going to measure the physical quantity, during that time we are going to use the tactile sensor. So basically these sensors are attached to the robot end effector, I can say, right? So in order to grasp the object, right? So hence the correct option concerned to this one is that C, right? So here as we move to the solution here, the tactile sensor is the device which measures the physical quantities related to a touch, right? So here the tactile sensors are embedded in the robotic hands or fingerprints, I can say, or end effectors that helps the device to judge the target's firmness, how much force we required, right? Or the texture or shear or size or shape, presence and the location, right? So based on this data, the device can make a decision to manipulate the object in terms of grasp or push or pull or slide over and so on task, I can say, right? So that is about the the question, right? So let's move on to the 87 question number, right? So here the 87 question also it is given, that is related to a statement I can say, and the concept we have the joint space control, the joint space control I can say, right? So here all right, so the statement 1 we have the motion is performed by the robot is the input motion of its mechanism. The statement 1 is given, the motion performed by the robot is the input motion of the mechanism, right? So the second statement is given, the control scheme at the lowest level of the robot's motion control system is the joint space control, right? And the third statement is given as a robot is a machine which is skilled at executing the motion, right? The robot is a machine which is skilled at executing a motion, I guess, right? So if you want to the question, they're asking which of the above statements are correct, right? So if you see the options, option A, B, and we have a C as well as the D also, right? So if you correctly observe the statement 1, the motion, whatever it will be going to perform by the robot is the output motion of the mechanism, right? So whatever the task will be going to perform by the robot, or the goal is performed by the robot, is basically output motion of the mechanism, I guess, right? So hence the given statement 1 is incorrect. So by eliminating method, we can clearly we can say that option A and B and D are the incorrect, and the correct answer concerned to this question or 87 question is the right answer is the option C, which is 2 and 3 statements are correct, right? So 87, right? So let's move on to the key verification, I guess, right? So we have a option C is the correct and respective solution, right? So this is about the 87 solution, right? So the same points are given here, right? So let's move on to the 88, right? So next move on to the 88. The question 88 says that autonomy is a characteristics which describes, right? Autonomy is a characteristics which describes option A, an automated system degrees of independence, an automated system degree of freedom, I can say, and option C is that an automated behavior, and option D is that automated action, right? Autonomy is nothing but what? The degree of level, I can say, right? Or the degree of independence, right? So the correct option concerned to the question is this 88 question is the answer is that option A, right? Autonomy is a characteristics which describes an automated system's degrees, or we can say that the level of independence, right? Let's move on to the key, right? So the option A is a correct one, and the autonomy is a characteristics which describes an automated systems which is nothing but the degrees or the level of the independence, right? So let's move on to the next question, which is 89. So here 89 question again related to the statement question, I can say, concerned to the monocular vision system, right? So basically this question is related to the vision system of an robot, I can say, right? So here if we see the first statement, the monocular vision system takes images as an input and produces a geometrical measurement as an output, right? Obviously the system vision system basically takes the capture of the images, and the same thing will be going to converted into the geometrical measurement as an output, right? And a monocular vision system is normally composed of a single electronic camera and image digitizer and computing hardware, right? And the third statement is given that the electrical signal is picked up by the imaging sensor of the camera will be converted into an analog image, right? So then they are asking the question related to which of the above statements are correct, right? So here consider the vision system, right? So in monocular vision system, whatever the image will be going to taken by the camera, so as an input, so that will be going to produce as a geometrical measurement as an output, right? So it basically it will be going to composed of a camera, or I can say single electronic camera as well as the image digitizer as well as the computing hardware, right? So the electrical signal will be going to pick up by the imaging sensor of the camera, and the same thing will be going to convert into the analog signal, to make further it will be going to send to the processor, I guess, right? By converting the again digital signals to the processor, right? So like that the processing will be going to takes place. So here among these three statements, all the three statements are correct, I guess, right? So all the three statements are correct. So hence the correct option is that D, right? So let's move on to the detailed solution, right? So the option is a D. And here if we see the molecular vision system, it takes the same statement we have here, and its molecular system is normally composed of basically the three elements whatever we have discussed, that is a single electronic camera as well as the image digitizers and respective computing hardware, right? So let's move on to the respective diagram concerned to the monochromatic vision system, I guess, right? So where we have the camera as well as the digital system, I can say, and other electronic hardware components, right? So the same points are given. The final conclusion is a D, right? Consider this question, right? So let's move on to the final question. Here we have the 90 question. I can say that the function of the parallel split motion is to duplicate the input motion into the multiple output motions, and duplicate the split input motion into the multiple parallel input motions, and duplicate the split input motion into the multiple random input, right? And input motions, right? And the option D is we have the duplicate the multiple random input motions to the single input motion, right? So here we have basically the question is related to the motion distribution. I can say basically we have the two types of splitters. One is the parallel splitter as well as the serial splitter, I can say, right? So basically here what are the function of the parallel splitter motion is to duplicate the input motion into multiple output motions, right? So multiple output motion, I can say. So concerned to this question, we have the best answer is that option A is a correct one, right? So here as we discussed that the motion distribution are classified into the two categories, I can say. One is the parallel splitter of the motion. So concerned to this, so we have the question. So the purpose of the motion splitter is to duplicate the input motion to the multiple output motions, right? The input is a rotary motion. To motion splitter comes from the output motion of the single motor, I can say, right? So there are two ways duplicating the input rotary motions. Among that, the one method I can say, so which will be going to use is using the planar gear mechanism to split the input motion into the multiple output motions at multiple output shots which are positioned in a parallel, right? So that is the axis of the rotations are parallel. A device which is implementing this method we are going to call as a parallel splitter of a motion, right? So if you see the basic diagram concerned to this same mechanism we have, so we will be going to having the main input or which is rotating, and after that we have the parallel axis duplicating motions, right? So we have this is the basic example whatever we the gear mechanism is given, right? There is a planar gear mechanism, right? So this is our duplicating motion of the main input, I can say, right? So we have this, right? So whatever the main motion we are getting from the main shaft, that is the same motion is duplicating to the other gear system, right? So that is about the question 90, I can say, right? So this is about the question and key and solution concerned to the mechatronics and robotics, right? So all the best to the students, right? So with this we are ending the live YouTube session. Thanking you.